My name is Dane Stewart. Pleased to be joined by Football Game Plan's Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And Emery, we've got an exciting national championship on tap for us here today, the undefeated Falcons and the undefeated Yellow Jackets.
It should be a great game. Two of the league's best meeting in a championship game, a rematch of what we saw last season. I'm excited to see it kick off.
It's the Falcons and the Yellow Jackets coming up next.
Jody.
This is a great combination of size and speed. It's the speed on display here. Jump ball.
Makes the grab, it's a touchdown! I cannot believe what I just saw.
All right, coin toss. Possession's been decided. The Utah Falcons will receive. And once again, I want to mention, joined by Football Game Plan's Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Emery, tell us a couple of keys tonight for each of these two sides, the Yellow Jackets and the Falcons.
Well, starting with Utah in this ball game, we know they run that triple option, and I've faced triple option teams throughout the course of my career, both in high school and in college, and it's one headache to deal with. So if you're Austin, you have to deal with that speed, that precision, and you have to really get early stops and put them in backed up situations. Now, for Austin in this ball game, they're from Texas, big and also fast. We talked about it pregame with Coach. The altitude may affect them a little bit, but when you're big and you're fast, you're going to force Utah to match up against that physicality, especially along the line of scrimmage.
Feels like this is one of those games where that first quarter is going to tell you a lot. This is the number one scoring offense and defense in Utah, the number two scoring offense and defense in Austin. And Utah really hasn't had a close game all year. In fact, in the conference championship, they gave up a season high of 7 points. And for Austin, it was a very close game. They won 16-8 over the Houston Energy. So maybe a bit of a wake-up call. In fact, talking with Coach Tillman Brooks, she mentioned that. Maybe a bit of a wake-up call for her girls. Does that help them? How important is that first quarter for the Yellow Jackets?
It's going to be important because, again, we talked about this before. Styles make fights, and you have a team that runs quick precision plays in an option attack. And you saw Austin running their pro-style offense, their multiple defense. So if they can get off to an early start against this team, against this crowd, it bodes well for their chances moving forward. We should be in for a great game today.
I agree. Now we want to clarify, this is not a home game for Utah. Salt Lake was awarded the national championship. It just so happens that Utah made the national championship, although they will certainly have the favor in the cheering section. Not many have made the trip from Austin. Marissa Facey will kick off for the Yellow Jackets, and they are wearing that bumblebee yellow and black striped uniform, as this one is angled near side. Jessie Beck able to track it down back around the 21. She gets hit but stays on her feet up to the 30.
Nice opening starting field position for the Falcons right there. 30 yards, you're minus 30. Now we're going to see this defense that we talked about all week long in the Yellow Jackets and see what they can do to get an early stop against this option attack.
We mentioned Keshia Cox in our open, the leading rusher for the Utah Falcons. And Emery, you've touched a little bit about that ground game for Utah. See if they can get her going early on this first opening possession. Luis Bean, the starting quarterback, under center for the Falcons on their first possession. And this is a give right up the middle. It was Alcala, and not much running room there.
That's a great stop right there by Nikita Bowman, number 71, defensive tackle. And that's what you want to do against the option. You have to play with your eyes, and that's if your eyes will lead you to the play, and they're going up-tempo right here with this next play.
Again, up the middle, and not much room for Alcala. Again, impressive interior defense on these initial dives.
Keep your eyes on your luggage is what the coaches tell you when you're facing an option team, and they're doing a great job so far in these first two plays.
3rd down and 8 to go for Utah. A very unfamiliar down and distance for them. This ball flared out, and it is up to the 37-yard line. That will be short of the first down, and an interesting decision here coming up for Utah.
You couldn't script a better defensive start for Austin on this opening drive. That was great defensive play, great pursuit, followed the football, and made the tackle.
You know what I think you got to love if you're Coach Tillman Brooks is she's playing right now with 3 defensive linemen, and yet they've clogged up that interior. Here's a sweep play. This is Cox trying to get around, has to get past the 40. She's got it up to the 48-yard line, and Keshia Cox to midfield, and a first down for Utah.
And what you saw right there was the outside linebacker got caught inside, which allowed the running back to get to the outside and get the first down. You have to hold contain and try to force that player back inside where your help is.
You had about 4th and 3, 4th and 4 there. Do the dives help set that sweep up?
Absolutely. You work inside and you work outside as a result.
Cox in motion. They'll go a little counter here. This is Willis. And Willis with a nice pickup of 9 yards on first down.
Good job mixing up the play calls right here. They're going up tempo. You saw them go inside with 2 dive plays, then come outside with the screen pass and also on the outside run, and now they come with a counter. So you really have to pay attention. It's going to neutralize their aggressiveness of Austin.
They'll give her 8 yards officially, 2nd down and 2, and now the defense, those heads may be spinning a little bit, seeing a couple different looks. Cox again trying the perimeter, nowhere to go. Great play made on the edge, I think, by Fuller.
That was a great job by Fuller. You saw what she did. She attacked the outside shoulder of her blocker, really strung out that outside run, then disengaged from that block and made the tackle for a loss on the play. That was a great textbook job right there by Fuller.
Cox averages 14 yards per carry, and it tells you a little bit about her speed. Talking with the coach of the Yellow Jackets before the game, she said, I think we have the advantage on the speed, and that time Fuller was right there to track Cox down. 3rd down, interior again. Alcala, boy, she is right near the stick. VAR official has her about a half a yard short.
With the first down pickup.
And it will be a 4th down.
I love the play calling right here by Utah. They've done a great job of mixing up their option attack. It's going to keep Austin guessing defensively.
4th and 1, Utah converted on their previous 4th down on this drive, and this Austin defense showing that that number 2 defensive ranking is legit. Motion from Cox, being the pitch. Cox, can she get around? And she will have the first down inside the 40, and the first time we've seen that option look. Bean read it well and got the ball to Cox.
Every decision you make defensively is going to be the wrong decision when you're facing an option team because they are so multiple in what they do. They had it played properly, except the outside guy forced contain and broke contain and allowed the pitch to be wide open, and they ended up picking up the first as a result.
So 2 4th down conversions here on the opening drive for the Falcons. 1st and 10 to the 37-yard line. Cox, the dive here. Well, inside give. This is to number 3, and I don't have a number 3 on my roster. Tina Tella picking up the carry and a gain of 4.
2nd down, 6 yards.
That's a big-time gain on first down for an option team. They want to keep this thing in manageable situations because it really is a 4-down offensive attack.
Iono gets the toss. She'll have the first down, and she'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 22-yard line by Monisha Kirk.
I spent time yesterday 2 days ago with the coaching staff of the Falcons, and they talked about her speed, Iona's speed, being the fastest on the team. And if she gets that corner, if she turns it, she can make a house call.
Right now, Utah's finding a lot of success around the perimeter between Cox and that time Iono. Another first down here for the Falcons. Iono in motion again. They'll give it to Willis. And Willis picking up 8 yards on the carry.
Carry on the counter.
Nice inside counter right there. You're trying to catch that aggressive defense flying upfield and coming back against the grain, and it worked right there for a pickup of 8.
How demoralizing are those 4th down conversions? It seemed like the first 2 sets, Austin was right there defensively, and now they're starting to give up some more chunks. This is Cox. Cox threw an arm tackle inside the 10, and it will set up a 1st and goal for Utah.
And this is the unique part about running east and west as opposed to north and south. You want to wear down a defense, especially in this altitude that they're not used to. You run east and west, you force those defensive linemen to chase you around the field. Then you come inside, and you're going to find yourself having big gains. So I understand what they're doing here on this opening drive, trying to wear down Austin very early in this ball game.
So we mentioned 1st and goal. And it is again with Tella looking right side, and she'll pick up 4 yards to the 5.
Tella with the carry off tackle.
You know, and the impressive thing about it is we mentioned Utah, the number 1 scoring offense in the league, but they're doing that running this option, and typically you don't see those 2 factors in teams during regular seasons. 2nd and goal, and our first penalty of the game coming in here.
And that's what fatigue does to you. It forces you to jump, snap, forces you to be a little bit over-aggressive in trying to get off the ball, and that's what causes you to jump off sides.
Interesting having a discussion here between the officials on what's going on. And it is a penalty on Austin, half the distance to the goal.
The Yellow Jackets, half the distance to the goal. Repeat, second down.
Second down and 3. Well, second and goal from the 3. Bean coming under and no tailback here. A couple of wings. Bean looking left side. Tosses back, looking for the corner. And it's a touchdown for Utah. Keshia Cox getting in the end zone. Her 10th rushing touchdown of the season. And Utah strikes first here with 9.5 left to play in our opening quarter.
Yeah, we talked about Cox in the open as a player to watch. They're working her in this ball game early and often. She gets a touchdown, and you talked about it a few plays ago. This is one of the top offenses that no one wants to face. You ask any coach, college, pro, high school, which is the offense they would least like to face. It's the option attack because it challenges your athleticism. It forces that they use your athleticism against you and force you to play a little bit more disciplined than you're used to.
Utah's a team that is not afraid to go for 2 in these situations, but it will be Emma Rainey, their place kicker, coming out for the PAT. This is up. It's perfect. And we've got ourselves a 7-0 ball game.
Falcons over the Yellow Jackets.
It's a 5.5-minute drive. Working their way down the field with their running game, one pass play, but it was a lot of what we expected to see coming in. East, west running, mixed in with a little bit north and south counter plays, and they found themselves hitting pay dirt.
And 2 fourth down conversions as well. And I mean, to me, it feels like, boy, if you get a stop on one of those 2, right, this game is very, very different. After those 2 fourth down conversions, boy, the holes really started opening up. That edge seemed to open up for Utah, and it seemed like it was relatively easy from that point on for that drive for the Falcons.
Yeah, had they got that first stop on that initial 4th down, it would have been a big-time stop. They would have been able to get rest, get adjustments on the defensive side, and build that confidence. Now you saw them get a little bit tired toward the end of the drive, gave up that touchdown. You saw a penalty, an offside penalty, which is a direct sign of fatigue early on. We'll see what they can do to answer, give their defense a break with this offensive series.
And when you talk about fatigue, it's one of the things that's going to be really important. I mean, obviously 9:30 left here in just the first quarter, so we're still very early on. But when you look at these 2 sidelines and the rosters, Utah more than doubles the Austin participants. And, you know, talking again pre-game, a lot of these Yellow Jackets will play both ways. And so you've got to find a way, and a higher altitude here in Salt Lake City than Austin is used to. You've got to find a way to really dig deep and find a little bit extra energy and endurance as this game rolls on.
Good part about it, they're battle tested. They play in that heat of Texas, and we know that heat is very challenging to do. And so if they're playing both ways down in Texas, I'm pretty sure they're ready to go a full 4 quarters in this altitude. But it's a little different. I say by the second quarter, they'll get adjusted, get acclimated, and we'll start to see them really get their sea legs underneath them.
The kickoff here from Utah, and it's Kirk tracking it down from just inside the Austin 15-yard line, looking to reverse it. Now she'll turn it up across the 25 and tackled about the 27 by Emma Rainey. How about the kicker getting down there and getting her first tackle of the night?
You have to like the aggressiveness of the kicker getting out there. The much maligned kicker in all of football goes on there and gets in on that tackle. You got to love that.
Hey, they're football players too.
Exactly. They're wearing equipment. They got to get out there and participate.
Right.
Now, what needs to happen for Austin, they really need this opening drive. I know it's still early in the ball game. You're only down 7-0, but this opening drive has to take up at least 3 to 4 minutes. You don't want to have a quick 3 and out and put your defense back on the field, especially since you're playing both ways.
Well, I was going to say a couple first downs, right? I mean, I would even say more than one. Get that Utah offense off the field. But that being said, I mean, this is an Austin team that during the regular season, they averaged 34 points a game, so they're certainly capable of putting the points up there. And they'll have to put up a lot here today against the Utah Falcons. Coming out, it will be Kelly Allen, their quarterback, and watching her in pregame, boy, she was accurate and she was throwing darts in warmups.
She has an arm that can really extend the defense and put a lot of strain on that coverage.
Be interesting to see how that defense does against an offense that they don't typically face. And how about this? A quarterback draw on first down. Utah right there. A gain of 1 for Kelly Allen on the play.
Well, one thing we know about Utah, because they're an option offense, they're going to be more than equipped to stop the run, right? They're going to be ready to stop the run. You want to see Austin come out and test that secondary. Maybe they do that in a second and long or third and long situation, but that's where you want to attack a team that doesn't get as much experience in defending the pass.
That feels like a bit of a chess call, right? You think we're going to throw it? Well, we're going to, try to throw a bit of a different look at you. Shotgun here on 2nd and 9 for Allen. 4 receivers. Allen looking to throw, has options. Going to throw this one to the corner. What a catch made up in the air. Tell you what, there was coverage there, but Austin able to come down with the reception. It was Juliet Turner with the first down catch.
Yeah, I love how Juliet Turner went up above the rim to go and catch that football at the highest point. If you're a receiver right now in high school, prep league, or whatever, that's how you attack the football in the air. Go up at its highest point so the defensive back, who was in great position, didn't have a chance to make a play.
It's one of the things, and you see it at all levels of football, regardless of gender, height in receivers and DBs that are athletic, and that time the height of the receiver won out. Catch the ball at its high point, first down again. Allen surveying, looking over the middle. That ball a little too tall. Intended target was Facey, and boy, fortunate there is if that ball had a little bit more, there would have been a safety right there to pick it off.
Yeah, that's a lucky play right there. And it's good that they're coming out starting to back up that defense because then you'll be able to find yourself able to run the football as a result. So I think in this situation against a team that has experience in stopping a run, use your pass to set up your running game, and that way your offense become much more balanced.
Second down and an extra back here for Austin. 2 receivers to the top of the screen. That ball through the hands of Allen. Retreating is Fuller. She'll pick it up, trying to make something out of nothing. Fuller, boy, an impressive job of gaining some yardage, but maybe more importantly, Allen is still down on the play. Her helmet's off as she has teammates come back, and boy, that's not good if you're Austin. They're calling for some assistance from the sideline here.
And she went to throw a block to help save the run, help save the turnover. Looks like she's going to be okay, but you got to love her aggressiveness trying to help save that possession. She took a nice little shot, but because of her block, they were able to recover that football and avoid the turnover deep in their own territory.
So here's an opportunity for Football Game Plan's Emery Hunt. You were a tailback in college. Help me out here. Snap goes through a quarterback's hands. Do you go get it and throw it away, or do you try to make a play?
The playmaker mentality in you will always try to make a play. Coaches want you to fall on the ball, but you think you can make anything happen. So I would say I agree with the tailback picking it up and trying to make something happen, but ideally you want to fall on the ball because you don't want to compound a mistake by creating another turnover. So, but listen, I understand why you want to pick it up and run. We all would have done that.
Certainly not trying to throw blame at all. It's just getting inside the mind, right? It's a lot easier said from the couch than from the field. Here's a sweet play and not much doing there. The Utah defense all over in a tough situation for Austin. It was 3rd and 18, and it will bring up 4th down and about 21 here for Austin.
Yeah, now you really don't have any plays in your playbook for 4th and 22. Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Donovan McNabb may say otherwise at 4th and 26 against Green Bay, but you really want to not give the ball back to Utah on their own end. You want to punt the football, flip field position a little bit, give your defense a rest. But this drive did exactly what we expected it to do. That's about 3 minutes off the clock.
Yeah.
Their defense is rested, albeit they got a first down, was able to move the football. Now let's see if they can put this ball on the back end of the 50-yard line.
One of the things that's going to be important for Austin is they'll take a timeout here is the health of their quarterback, Kelly Allen. Again, a timeout here taken by the Yellow Jackets on what will be 4th down and 21. The timeout again, 4th down, 21 yards to go. Austin in punt formation. It's Marissa Facey to kick, and once again, well, not once again, it's the first punt of the game. Iona will be back for Utah here to receive it.
Oh.
Fire. That one off the side of the foot and will roll out at midfield.
And teammate got in the way of the kick and kind of forced the shank, but at least it's at the 50-yard line and not being sent back the other way. But you hate to see blunders on special teams, especially when you're trying to flip field position against a team that's going to try to work their way down the field with their running game.
It was one of those things I couldn't tell. I didn't think it hit the up back, but couldn't quite tell. It was certainly close if it didn't.
It
but,
definitely affected the punt
Yeah.
and forced a shank, which is unfortunate because you want to get off to a positive start offensively and defensively and also on special teams.
So Utah will come out and start their second drive of the ball game here. 6:32 remaining in our opening quarter. The Falcons leading 7-0 in the IWFL National Championship. Bean will throw. Great route over the middle by Willis on the slant. She'll pick up the first down, 11 yards from Bean to Willis.
And what I like about Bean is that she can do both. She's not one that just can run the option. She's a terrific passer. I watched her in warm-ups. Deadly accurate on the short to in-breaking routes, what we saw here on that quick slant. So, and those receivers, despite not getting a lot of reps at catching the football, they can definitely catch the ball. So that's another piece of their offense.
On first down, Bean with it here. Pitches back. Space for Cox. Cox will pick up the first down. And tell you what, something interesting about the way Bean carries that ball before the pitch. It's out there a little bit, but it works for her here in another first down.
And I like how she runs the option. It's not where she's quickly looking to pitch the ball. She's allowing the defense to get influenced by her, which opens up a lane for that pitch man, and she pitches at the last moment, the last possible moment, and they're able to pick up positive yards.
Something you mentioned, the ability of Bean to go through the air, on the ground. She threw for 685 yards, 14 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. As again the counter to Willis up the middle. Finds Money and 11 more yards as we've got a Falcon down here. Quinn Wesley, the all-star, and last year's line woman of the year, now able to get up, trying to walk it off. A lot of all-stars on both these two teams and a lot of award winners, a lot of great individual players. Wesley, one of them, she'll stay on here. She didn't require assistance, hence not required to leave the field.
I love the athleticism of the line of scrimmage for Utah.
That time, Austin was right there on the carry by Tella and even got a little bit of pursuit inside before that handoff.
Again, and it's all about playing with your eyes and understanding your responsibilities. Once you get away from those against an option team, that's when you give up big plays on the ground. So good job right there, keeping your eyes on your luggage, doing what you're supposed to do from a discipline and fundamental standpoint, and making the stop.
Second down and 9. Cox in motion, option to the right of Bean. Boy, she's got space. She'll pitch it to Cox, and that might be one that she maybe could have kept.
Yeah, that's when you want to turn it upfield and get as much yards as you can. You're already outflanking the defense. You kind of waited too long to pitch. And as a runner, I hated pitches or running plays to the short side of the field because you have little room to wiggle or make something happen. As you saw right there, that's why the running back ran straight out of bounds.
Well, and the pitch is basically to the boundary, right? There's not a lot you can do with it. But
Exactly.
tell you what, it's some free yards statistically, right?
Exactly.
So-
Helps you out, but it doesn't help your average out there.
Yeah. Third down and 5. Bean will toss back with Cox on the option again. Cox trying to get around the edge. Boy, great play made there by Felixis Bryant, able to catch up to Cox and force her out of bounds. And nice play defensively to bring up fourth down.
That counter option is very tough to defend because the quarterback reverse pivots and comes out the opposite way. And they had the defense right where they wanted them, but good job defensively by Austin with the pursuit, recovering, and pushing the running back out of bounds.
About 4 minutes left here in our opening quarter. Another fourth down for Utah. They're 2 for 2 in the ball game. This ball thrown out, and they won't get it. Austin makes the stop as the ball was thrown to Tella, but a couple of Yellow Jackets there swarming, and Utah will turn it over on downs.
That's a big stop for Austin in this ball game, and they did a little bit of everything. They tried to throw at them. They tried to run east and west, north and south, but they held strong inside the red zone, got the stop. Now let's see if their offense can come out and capitalize on the defense's success.
You know, and I think the big thing there is keeping points off the board, right? I mean, you head to the sideline and, you know, you just stopped the best offense in the league. And so maybe something there to give them a little more confidence. Surely a confident bunch coming in, but you've been able to execute against the opponent as opposed to just in the film room and your strategy you're planning.
Absolutely. You earned your break on that particular defensive series.
So Austin takes over. First down on their own 11-yard line, and Allen is back in under center. Good to see that. First time that she's been under center tonight, and it is right up the middle. Good carry on first down for Austin. It's Fuller, real close to a first down.
Love what they did there. If you notice, they put the two receivers way out to the boundary, and it reduced the box, so now they have numbers inside, which is why that running back was able to pop through there pretty quickly.
Austin picking up the tempo here on their second drive, and a similar looking play here is, again, they go to Fuller on the ground, and she's ahead for 5.
They're really playing a chess match right now with Utah's defense. If Utah is going to designate those two players to the outside, they have the favorable number matchup in the box. They're going to run the football. If they try to cheat, put one inside, or try to split the difference, they're going to throw the football out on the perimeter.
It's where coaching is so important, and good recognition by Coach Tillman Brooks, having her offense prepared and ready for the different looks that they thought they might be able to see and the ways to attack it. Allen back to the shotgun here on 2nd and 5. And penalty flags here in on the play. Looks like a false start, and this will back up Austin.
That's a tough penalty right there because you had 2nd and medium. The playbook is completely open now because you have favorable down and distance, and now it puts you in the 2nd and long situation where you're probably going to have to scrap what you're going to call on this particular play and switch things up and get away from your rhythm that you just developed.
Some early mistakes, and we saw it on the first drive with the snap going through the hands, and this time a false start that takes 2nd and 5 to 2nd and 10 now as Allen stays in the shotgun here. 2 backs in on the play, 2 receivers to the top of the screen. Allen handing off to Fuller. Fuller able to turn upfield, lowering the shoulder, and a good hit there delivered by Fuller as she's able to pick up 7.
Nice counter right there because all the action showed that they were coming front side. They ran backside with that counter with Fuller with the speed. She was able to pick up a lot of yards. Now it's 3rd and manageable. I like the offensive approach right now by Austin.
And I think that's one of those situations where, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. I wasn't expecting a run, right? So maybe you catch that defense a little off guard. 3rd down. Boy, that middle clogged right up. A lot of Falcons there, including Maggie McGrath, and it will bring up a 4th down and 2 here for Austin.
4th and 2, you feeling yourself right now, feeling that you got some momentum, your offense is moving. Can you pick up a quick 2 yards? Do you throw the football? Do you run the football? Do you punt? I think right now they want to strike while the iron is hot. Their offense has had some success on this drive. They're going to take their chances and try to get this first down.
I mean, I don't want to be a doomsdayist, and I don't want to be that guy, but is this the play of the game? I mean, you're inside your own 30. This is a big, big play. 4th and 2 to the ground. Fuller looking for a hole, and she stood up right at the 30. They won't get it. The Utah defense stands up, and they'll take over on the Austin 30.
It had potential. Initially, it looked like it was open, but great job by Utah closing in and taking down a very tough runner to bring down in Fuller to get the turnover on downs. Now Utah's back in business at the 30-yard line going in with 1:22 left in the first quarter.
Big stop right there, and if Utah can convert here, boy, what a big play, big moment in this ball game. You know, we talk about the offenses coming in, and with football these days, offense tends to rule the storylines, but 2 big 4th down stops, 1 by each defense. Utah D stepping up and answering the call there. 1st and 10, Bean pitches back. Cox can't handle it. It's loose, and she'll get back on it. Had pressure there by Danielle Smock, but Cox able to recover a loss of 5.
Well played right there by Austin. It was a great call by Utah. It's just, you know, their execution of Austin just out-executed Utah's execution, and that's a big win defensively because now it's 2nd and long. It's going to get them out their tendencies. It's going to force them to break what they normally do.
Another timeout taken here by Austin with 1:03 left in the first quarter. We'll come back in the IWFL National Championship. 2nd and 15. Toss to Iono, trying around the right side, maybe a bit of a face mask on the defensive end. No penalty flag coming in. There will be one coming in late as Iono had some contact right near the stick. She was able to pick up 14, and there's going to be more yardage tacked onto this one.
I told you, once she turns that corner, she has the speed to pick up the first. And just when you thought you did a great job defensively, you come out on 2nd and 15 and give up a big gain, and now it's 3rd and medium. You put that offense right back into their groove, right back where they need to be. See what this penalty is. It's going to be a personal foul, so they pick up the first down.
Yeah, there was contact right as Iono was getting that boundary. I didn't think they were going to call it, but boy, a couple of them came in, and that's a big one because you had the 14-yard gain, but now this is going to move the ball all the way down to just outside the 10-yard line. It won't be first and goal, but it's going to be awfully, awfully close.
Flag on the play. Personal foul against the Yellow Jackets.
Another mistake there by Austin in this one. A couple of them.
Inside 1 minute to play in the first quarter.
Have to find a way to dig deep and make a big stop here. Inside of a minute left, 45 seconds left in our opening quarter. Pitch to Willis. Willis has the blocking. She'll turn inside and looking for a signal. She's in. Touchdown, Utah.
As a former running back, I love the piece of running right there by Willis. Saw she was going to get beat to the corner by Austin. Was able to find a cutback lane, put her foot in the ground, and headed north and south and found her way into the end zone for the touchdown.
Boy, and those who say that women can't play football, I mean, I love Willis's aggressive attack on that play. Knows that there's going to be defensive players right near the goal line, lowering the shoulders and initiating the contact, following through the play and finishing it off. A strong finish here as Utah making it now a double possession lead.
Willis knew there was going to be a physical discussion at the goal line. She was ready for that discussion and met it head on and ran through two defenders.
Rainey's point after is good, and it is 14-0. The Utah Falcons with the lead. 37 seconds left here in our opening quarter of the 2017 IFWL National Championship. How about this? An onside kick for Utah. Austin there and ready for it. And able to jump on it. Want to give credit, I think it was April Swanson, who was right there and able to jump on it for Austin at midfield.
Alert play by Swanson. Again, they try to take advantage of, let's say, the fatigue of Austin, and Austin wasn't having it. Swanson was alert, got on the ball. Now the Yellow Jackets have great field position, and we saw them have success moving the football last drive. Penalties kind of hurt them, but now they have the ball on the 50 with a great chance to get points up on the board.
36 seconds left in the opening quarter, so there's no rush for this Austin offense, but to your point, an important drive. You feel like you got to get points here. Allen in the shotgun. Looking to the left, that ball on target, caught, and real close to the first down. The reception by Kirk. She will have it up to the 40.
If you notice, man, these receivers go up and grab the ball at the highest point. They open their hands up fully and grab the football. They're not waiting for it to get into their chest. This is a well-coached football team. I'm impressed with the technique that you're seeing on display from the Yellow Jackets.
I cover a lot of high school football in this state, and there are high school players that don't do that. That's extremely well executed, and great point by you. On the ground, and a carry by Facey will gain her and this offense 3 yards.
Again, their offense is very multiple. Their defense is multiple, which is why they've had success on both ends. Can they string together positive plays as we go to the second quarter to have success?
That's going to be the question. An opportunity for Coach Tillman Brooks to remind her team of that. It'll be 2nd and 7 for Austin to start the second quarter right after this. And don't you know what? All afternoon and in the early parts of this game, there was no sun. And with about 30 seconds left in that first quarter, the sun peaked out, and now Austin gets the opportunity to have it coming in their visors as they switch ends of the field. Second down carry here for Fuller. Able to get past Willis. Fuller can't get through the second tackle as that was Iono coming in on the play as a penalty flag in late.
Saw some great blocking out there on the perimeter by the wide receivers. Nearly was able to spring Fuller for a big game, but looks like it was too good of a block as they're walking backwards after this penalty.
You're right. This one coming back, and it's going to be a big one, a block in the back. And again, an opportunity for Austin, and they shoot themselves in the foot. It will go from what would have been a 3rd and 3 to a 2nd and 14 for the Yellow Jacket offense.
Self-inflicted wounds. You can't beat yourself when you're playing a team like Utah. it's all about possessions. You want to make sure you maximize your possessions because they will do so because of their offense. So you can't afford these type of plays to happen to you.
2nd and 14, the Utah crowd standing up to support their defense. Allen to throw, has time, looking over the middle. That ball threw a couple of players. I think it was intended for Facey, but Jasmine Johnson thought it was coming her way, and the miscommunication causes the incompletion.
It's a tough play, 3rd and long, but when you have a passing offense or when you have an offense that's multiple, you can make something happen out of here. This is probably going to be 4th down territory for Austin. They have to get at least half the yardage here to make it a much more manageable 4th down.
Certainly don't have to get all the 14 on this 3rd down. Allen has the arm to do it if the opportunity is there. How about this going on the ground? And Utah was there. A couple of Falcons flocking to the ball. Gebbia as well as Robertson. And they'll drop Fuller for a loss.
That was a slow developing play, so it's not surprising to see the defense was able to recognize and make the play in the backfield. Now you have to punt because you don't want to give a short field to a team like Utah with that option attack.
Well, I think one of the things that was tough about that particular play as well is it wasn't much of a sales job by Allen. The eyes came down the moment she received that ball, and that kind of signals the linebackers, hey, we're staying right here with the ball.
And you don't want to get too creative in a situation. Sometimes the best play is the simplest play.
Yeah.
Just get out there and try to pick up 7 yards.
Well, where have they found success? It's been on those dives up the middle, right? The powers inside the tackle. On 4th down, Austin will elect to punt. This one off the side of the foot again, but has more distance than the first. It will roll down and out at about the 23, and that's where the Utah Falcon offense will come out.
And that's the type of pump we would have seen the first time they tried to kick the ball if the upback didn't try to run into the punter. So we'll see. Defense got a great stop the last time they were out. Utah's offense was a little bit more multiple. We saw them throw the football.
Yeah.
This is the point of the game where I think you may see a little trickeration. A big play, a double pass or something like that to catch this defense off balance and get yards in chunks. Because that's what quietly we've seen the Austin do a good job defensively in containing the Falcons.
It's one of the things I say is when you have your opponent down, you got to finish them off, right? An opportunity to finish it off is penalty flags come on here before the snap. And this one, I think we're going to have too many players on the field, and it will be on Austin.
5-yard penalty against the Yellow Jackets. Illegal contact. 1st and 5 Falcons from their own 29-yard line.
Yeah, they've got 12 players on the field, and now they'll pull the extra player off, trying to hurry off before Utah gets the snap away. The toss back to Beck. Forced inside, she'll pick up maybe a yard.
And that's exactly how you want to defend that outside run. You saw the two defenders set the edge and force the running back to cut it back, where their linebackers were right there to make the play for a short gain. 2nd and short now. Second and medium, I'm sorry, as opposed to 2nd and short.
We'll let it slide.
We'll let it slide.
Let's clean it up, huh?
Right, exactly.
Bean looking to throw. She's going to go down the sideline. That ball caught. It's Lexi Floor inside the 10, the 5, touchdown Utah. You mentioned it. It wasn't trickeration, but going for the jugular and a 70-yard touchdown throw from Bean to Floor. It's 20-0 Utah.
Again, that's when you want to strike deep down the field, is when your opponent is on his heels. You feel like it's a crucial part of the game, and just an excellent play call right there by Utah. They saw the situation. They saw the Yellow Jackets getting some confidence defensively, and Utah came out, hey, we can throw the football just as well as we can run the ball. Found pay dirt, caught the defensive back napping in her coverage, and was able to hit her for a big play deep down the field.
It's one of the things we alluded to earlier is Bean's ability to run the option, but also to throw. And that ball was right on target. Beautiful throw over the corner as she lines up under center. Now we'll take a timeout. Utah thinking other than going for 2 here potentially.
Lexi Floor didn't have to break stride at all.
Yeah.
She beat her defensive back off the snap, and ran right underneath the football. A nice arcing rainbow,
Yep.
dropped right in the bucket, and Floor was able to take it the distance.
Boy, she really showed her speed. Lexi Floor, her 6th touchdown of the season, and she averages 19 yards per reception. So she's one of those down-the-field targets, and well, you see with her speed and Bean's ability to put the ball right on a dime, that offense, boy, so tough. And now you can see how easy it is for them to score 45 points a game. There's a reason why they're the #1 scoring team in the league.
And that's what people don't understand about an option offense. People think the option offense is a basic offense. No, it's an explosive offense. It thrives on explosive plays like we just saw.
Yeah.
We saw one with the running plays. We saw one with this passing play just a few seconds ago. So it's a dynamic offense. It's an explosive offense. And another myth about the option offense is that people think you can't come back. No, it can come back. It's going to look a little different. They're going to run the ball and pick up big plays as opposed to trying to throw their way back in it. So it's very tough to defend.
Well, not a great example of setting up that play, right? We've never seen them attack the edge in the air until right there, and it pays off. 2-point conversion, option, Bean pitches it back, and that time it is stopped. Right there was Fuller. 2-point conversion, no good.
Fuller is one heck of a defensive back.
Yep.
I know her running game and her running skills are evident, but as a defensive back, she is outstanding. Her form tackling is there on display. She's a smart football player. She's not going to get fooled. She's not going to get outflanked. And she's made 2 key plays on the perimeter defensively in this ballgame.
And not just on any regular running back, but on the best running back in the league. Keshia Cox led the league this year in rushing, and an opportunity where she only has to pick up 3 yards. We mentioned earlier she averages 14, right? Like that is right in her wheelhouse. And Tony Fuller right there to make the stop and keep the points off the board.
And as a runner, you see one-on-one open field defensive back between you and the end zone, you're going to make that person miss 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So that's a great job right there by Fuller.
Easy to see why Coach Tillman Brooks for Austin, when we said, tell us a player or 2 on your team, the first one out of her mouth was old number 1, Tony Fuller, and she has certainly made her coach's words ever true. 12:47 left here in our opening half, 20-0. Utah Falcons with a comfortable lead as they look to kick off here. Rainey will send this one long. They tried the onside last time. It didn't work. As Turner will allow this one to go all the way into the end zone for the touchback.
If this was the CFL, that would be called a ruse. 1 point given up.
Ooh, look at you.
A little bit of everything out here, man.
Speaking of CFL,
What we got?
did you see the onside, or not the onside, the field goal
Field goal,
conversion?
exactly,
That was
right?
the weirdest thing. I mean, I love it. I would love if all levels incorporated
Exactly.
that. That was fantastic.
And that's a real rule in the CFL. And there's so many unwritten rules that are official rules in the NFL that we don't see, like the drop kick and things like that. CFL explores the entire playbook and entire rule book. That's why I love watching that game as
For
well.
those who don't know, a team set up for a field goal. They had a player who legally checked in. They came out to the numbers, and then they came back to the sideline. They were behind the kicker. The kicker then basically,
First and 10, Yellow Jackets.
I mean, I was going to say pooch punted, but it was
Right.
off of the turf to the boundary, and the player ran up and picked it up and took off
positive
and picked
yards.
up a first down. It was incredible. Go check it out.
Amazing play.
But wait till after this one. First down for Austin, and penalty flags once again, and it's another false start, taking it to 1st and 15 for Austin.
Backed up situations always derail your offensive attack, and you just gave up a big play for a touchdown.
First and 15.
You don't want to come out on your opening drive and give up a penalty and now back your offense up even more so. So you don't want this stuff to happen, and you hope they start to get their ship righted pretty quickly. Otherwise, it can get out of hand.
You know, and I'm holding a pen and holding a mic, so my counting isn't real good, but that's got to be the 5th or 6th penalty on Austin in this game already, and most of them have come at very inopportune times, as a carry here is good for 6 yards.
Now imagine 6 yards on 1st and 10 makes it 2nd and medium or 2nd and short. Quick hurry up play right there, but you just get out of a rhythm offensively when you with those self-inflicted wounds.
Laquita Dobbins had the carry there on 2nd down, and will bring up a 3rd down and 6 for this Austin offense. You know, they had a couple plays where Allen was under center. They got some good running momentum, and now she's gone back to the shotgun, and that offense is maybe seeing a little bit of a drop in its productiveness. Looks like a reverse here. Looked like a reverse, but quickly had to come up was Kirk to block, and the Utah Falcon defense there to get to the ball carrier, Facey, to take her down for a loss on the play.
It's tough to run outside against a team whose skill is predicated on speed.
Yeah.
You're not going to outflank them. You're not going to beat them with angles, especially when you're trying to run outside. If you're neutralizing your own speed by trying to get outside on the perimeter. But this is a situation where that penalty on first down backed up their offense, probably threw their offensive game plan off a little bit, and now they find themselves punting once again, putting the ball in the dangerous hands of Iono back there as a punt returner.
Well, and it was one of the weird things. I mean, it seemed like as soon as that snap came off, Kirk turned inside, and she wasn't blocking that outside. It's why I called the reverse. But, you know, that allowed the defense to really come in off the edge and totally disrupt the play.
Coaches always tell you, unless you're involved in the play, don't watch the play.
Yeah.
Do your job until you hear the whistle blow.
And Austin here, they were trying to run a player off. There's a penalty flag, and they broke the huddle with 12. So we've seen 2 times here in the second quarter alone. We still have 11 minutes to go in the second where too many men on the field for Austin, and it's costing them again.
If this was basketball, this is when you need that 20-second timeout. Get everybody mentally where they need to be. So that way you can execute your game plan.
And the problem is they've already used 2 of their timeouts. You only get 3.5. They're punting here on 4th down. This one an end over end, and it will not bounce in Austin's favor as they'll come up and quickly down it at the 39.
38-yard line, 1st and 10 Falcons.
Utah's offense is going to come out inside of Austin territory for their next drive here with 10:43 left in the second quarter.
The Falcons and everyone involved with this championship game would like to thank our volunteers from the Utah chapter of the Huntington's Disease Society of America. Thanks for all your help.
First down for Utah after the Austin punt. Dane Stewart here bringing you the IWFL National Championship game, joined by Football Game Plan's Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And appreciate Emery joining us here today for our national championship game as this ball up the middle with Myra Alcala for a pickup of a yard.
Nice stop right there defensively on first down, and such a beautiful night for football. I mean, It feels great outside. It's my first time in Utah. I just love the atmosphere. I had a great time all week long.
Of course, we're in an air-conditioned booth, so it feels great.
It feels great.
Who knows what it feels like out there, but it feels great for us. Under center here for Bean is she gives back to Cox. Cox trying to get around the edge. Boy, she had to beat Smock, and she did, but nice pursuit by the rest of that defense, able to force her out of bounds after a short pickup.
It's a good job right there by Cox, understanding her speed. She knew she wasn't going to turn that corner. It's like, you know what, let me just pick up what I can, get out of bounds, and let's play another down.
And it's one of those where, you know, it felt like Smock, her ability to get in caused just enough of that delay, that swing around, that it allowed the rest of the defensive help to come and make the play. Third and 8. Bean, near side. She's keeping this one. Turns up inside the 30, and Bean tackled at the 27-yard line. A nice carry and a nice read there by the quarterback.
Picked up the first down right there. Good job, good decision by Bean again. She let it be known earlier in the week that this is probably her last game as a Falcon, so she wants to go out with the championship. But I love the decision-making. I love the accuracy, throwing the ball down the field. The decision-making I talked about with the option, whether it's making the right give or pitch, she's done a great job so far this ball game.
That she has, and boy, what a loss that would be for this Utah Falcons team. Is she's been so pivotal. Boy, great read, and this one right up the middle with Alcala. That hole was ginormous, and it's Alcala taking it to the 13.
First down Falcons.
See, people see it as an easy just dive, but that mesh point, that decision happening that quick is so tough to do. That's a skill, and that shows how much they pay attention to detail in practice and how they're out here executing what they've learned throughout the course of the week.
It's one of those where it's easy to see that play afterwards and be like, oh, there's the hole. But when you're down there and you have to make that read in literally a split of a second, it's an extremely difficult thing to do. And Bean was right there and makes the right play. 9 minutes left here in our first half. Bean to throw on first down, looking to the end zone. It's Floor again, and dual possession touchdown Utah. Lexi Floor, her second of the night.
Wow, what a pass, and what a job by both players. The defensive back had their hands on it as well. Floor came down with it, but we know the tie goes to the offensive side of the ball. It's a great catch. That was a great throw once again by Bean. So a great play by the defensive back was just nullified by a greater play by Floor. So it was a tough break, but that was just a great throw and great grab by Floor.
You know, the difference on the 70-yarder and that one is the DB is ready for it on that one, right? I mean, the coverage is right there. It's a great toss. Floor is in the right positioning, and Floor is strong with the ball, but the DB is right there, and so a lot of credit to Floor being able to use her strength to come down with that one.
That's why you spend time in the weight room. That's why you do those curls. That's why you do hand strengthening exercises. So you come in a situation in the game where you have to fight for a ball, you know you can pull it away from the defender.
2-point conversion is good as Viathon takes it in, and it is 28-0 Utah with the lead here in the 2017 National Championship. Got 9 minutes left in this half. Austin's going to receive the ball now. They'll receive the ball to start the second half. So you figure if we can get in the end zone in this half and get a defensive stop, you'll get the ball to start the second, and you can be right back in this ball game real quickly. Is a good return here off the kickoff up to the 40-yard line for this Austin offense.
Exactly, and that was a great point because you get the ball back at the half, and it's up to you now offensively to try to work a little bit of this clock, but come away with points. It could be 3, it could be 7. Ideally, you want it to be 7, but try to work some of this clock, put points on the board, regroup at halftime, come back out with a fresh game plan, and make it work and try to get back in this ball game.
It's going to be the big question, and how do you do that? Austin has struggled to find sustained success, and every time they've had that, a mental lapse or two is really nipped that right in the bud, but they'll need to find a way here. It'll be a first down for Austin. The drive will start at their own 40, a little late to come out to the huddle, as it will be Kelly Allen once again, and to start this drive in the shotgun. Has Fuller in the slot to the bottom of your screen. Allen looking to throw. She's going to try downfield. That ball caught on a great move made by Kirk. Kirk down to the 35-yard line, able to beat the corner on the play, and it was Memory Ware who came up to make the touchdown-saving tackle.
Manisha Kirk right there did a great job adjusting back to the football, making a catch, and quickly turning around, getting upfield, and picking up even more yards. So, again, they're back in business. That's a big chunk play that they needed.
It's one of the things we talked about before the game is this ability to throw the ball for Austin maybe gives Utah defensively something they're not accustomed to seeing. And how would that wide receiver and secondary battle be? That time it's the secondary coming up with the play as it's Alcala in man coverage, able to deflect it away.
I feel like Kelly Allen, the quarterback, kind of forced that throw. If she just waited and went back to the other side of the field, she had a receiver streaking across the middle of the field wide open. So kind of a force right there, but it puts it in second and long situation. Better when incomplete than intercepted.
Yes. 2nd and 10. Again, time for Allen looking deep. That ball overthrown and intercepted. Sarah Galisa turning inside, and boy, what couldn't happen just did for Austin. Galisa with the big interception returns it to the 31, where the Utah offense will come out with 8:07 left here in our opening half.
See, and that's the big turnover, man. Accuracy matters, and she put a little bit too much steam on that, which caused the ball to sail right to the waiting arms of the defensive back. Again, you just called it. That's what they couldn't have happened on this drive. Coming off a positive play, you want to try to string together those plays in a row. Costly turnover. Now with 8 minutes left in this half, it's not what you want to hear. It's not detrimental, but it definitely does hurt. You know, if you're Austin.
As painful as that is, the defense able to get a stop here, and I mean you can kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, but you're getting to a point where you can't give up many more points. Here is Lane running the option. Lane turning inside, and Elizabeth Lane with the pickup of 15 yards and a first down.
And that was a smart play right there by Elizabeth Lane. And you saw what happened. Defensive end, whose responsibility was to keep control of that C gap, cut inside, creating that big space for Lane. And she read it perfectly and was able to pick up a big gain.
Boy, I mean, the rich get richer, right? I mean, I love Louise Bean, but Elizabeth Lane comes in, and she's maybe a step quicker than Bean. And, boy, she makes them pay there. Counter run here with Tella. And, boy, that one read well defensively. Is coming up with the tackle on the play was Danielle Smock.
Good job right there by Smock, getting off a block and making a stop in the backfield, killing in the momentum that Utah just had on that big play by Lane. So you like to see their defense staying aggressive, staying active, and staying motivated to get off the field.
Very big play there defensively. We'll make it second down and 14, and Austin looking here to take their final time out of the half with 7:15 left. Trying to keep this defense rested. Austin knowing this might be one of their last chances to keep themselves in this ball game. Second and 14 for Utah. Lane under center for this drive. Option again. Boy, and that look off that time created just a bit of space for Lane as she's forward for a pickup of 3.
It's all about patience with the option. You know, every yard you gain positively is a great play. As long as you don't take a loss, you're doing fine. That was just a great job just recognizing that, hey, I can pick up a couple of yards, not force a pitch, and pick up positive yards on the play.
Third down and 10, and Utah has not been afraid to go for it on fourth. I would assume this is 4-down territory once again for the Falcons. Timing run here to Willis, and boy, she got popped by a couple of Yellow Jackets right at the line.
Living true to their name, they swarmed around the ball right there, man. It's a heck of a job defensively. Good job by setting the edge, forcing it back to your help. Defenders are right there to make a play.
Got an injured Austin player down on the ground. We'll have a stoppage here to check on the injury. It's Lakita Dobbins who is going to receive some assistance here from the sideline holding that right shoulder.
I like the pace of the game. It's been moving pretty fast.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen some games earlier this week where the pace is a little slow. This game is moving how you expect the football game to move.
Dobbins was able to walk off under her own power. They were looking at that right shoulder. And Utah, how about this? They're going to punt. I was expecting them to go for it, but a solid punt here. This one will bounce out of bounds back inside, well, right at the 21-yard line. Be a first down for Austin there. Good job by this Austin defense forcing a stop there on the potent Utah offense.
Again, they played well enough to be in this ball game. It's just that they can't keep shooting themselves in the foot. I know we sound like a broken record, but that's been the difference in this ball game, turnovers and penalties.
Look, the situation's the same that we just outlined 2 minutes ago, right? So they got their defensive stop. You've got 6 minutes to go. You have a sustained drive here. You have an opportunity to get points on the board late and to receive the kickoff in the second half. But you're not going to do that forcing the ball down the field or forcing it into coverage. If I'm an Austin fan, I think I'm saying get under center and run inside the tackles.
You want to dance with whom you brought to the party. You talk about Tony Fuller being a big playmaker. Get the ball in her hands, running inside like we saw earlier, like you mentioned. They can get back to basics. They can get right back in this ball game.
We've got a quarterback change for Austin. It will be Juliet Turner, the new quarterback she keeps here on first down. She'll get back to the line, maybe pick up a yard, as Utah able to stop her for a short gain.
At least it's not a loss. Again, you want to string together positive plays in a row, and that's how you're able to sustain the drive and ultimately find yourself in the end zone.
You know, one of the things we should mention, again, this is an Austin team that was number 2 in scoring in the league this year, and if you remember on their first drive, had a snap go through the hands of Allen, and she was a little slow to get up, and so certainly not blaming anything, but you wonder, was there something there that maybe just disrupted her or threw her out of her rhythm, because she certainly did not have the typical first half that she's had all year long. First drive, this ball kept, and boy, that one maybe shouldn't have been. Coming back was Minix to drop Turner for a big loss.
Great job once again by the Falcons, playing great perimeter defense. And we talked about this earlier in the ball game. A lot of their big plays, Austin's big plays, have come when they run downhill, throw the football, threw the football vertically. This East and West stuff is not going to work against Utah. You're playing right into their strength, and that's why we saw them take a huge loss on this play and another play earlier in this ball game.
That'll bring up a 3rd down and 19.
3rd down and 19 here for Austin, and they're back at their own 13. So a real tough situation for the Yellow Jackets. They'll come on the inside with a run. It is Facey as they faked the give to Fuller. Facey has 4 yards.
They'll bring up a punting situation. Facey on the carry for the Yellow Jackets.
Inside of 4.5 minutes left here to go in the first half. Utah scored on their first possession, and it's been a comfortable lead since, 28-0 for the Falcons. Dane Stewart here, joined by Football Game Plan's Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, providing great analysis here today. 4th and 15 is Austin looking like they're going to punt here.
And if you're Iona back there returning the punt, you have to think, I can make a big play because that defense is tired, that offense is tired. Here's your opportunity to make a big play in the special teams department.
This punt short. Iona going to let it bounce, and it will come just shy of midfield is where Austin will down it. Utah comes out with the ball in Austin territory with 3:42 left to play in the second quarter.
3:42 left in quarter number 2. 28-0 Falcons over the Yellow Jackets. I want to get a chance to mention some of the great assistant coaches for the Falcons: Steve Cox, Troy Chilton, Kendra Hall, Jasper Horn, Dave Lima, Joe Wesley, Sean Matthews, B. Bradley, Mark Hunter, Jody Thompson, the defensive coordinator, the offensive coordinator Kyle Rasmussen, and the head coach, Rick Rasmussen. Thanks to all.
So, we've talked a lot about the coach for the Austin Yellow Jackets, but how about Coach Rick Rasmussen for Utah? This is a team that's only lost 1 game in the last 3 years, and they are the defending national champs, looking to repeat here today. Is this ball thrown out into the flats to Alcala as she takes us to the 45.
Great throw, great catch, great tackle once again by Tony Fuller. You're not going to beat her one-on-one in space. I'm willing to resign that fact that she is great in the open field as a defender. But good throw right there, and you talk about Coach Rasmussen, has some Air Force ties, and this offense looks a lot like what we see down in Colorado Springs with the Falcons.
Yep, he was the coach of the year in the league last year, and certainly has done a good enough job to garner that same award this year. Of course, that's still to be given as this ball kept by Bean, and she'll pick up 2 yards.
She hit the ground pretty hard, so.
Yeah, she got kind of thrown to the turf there, and Bean a little slow coming up.
She's shaking it off a little bit. She's a tough quarterback. She's coming out for a play, looks like.
She will come out for this play, and expect Elizabeth Lane to be under center. She ran the offense that last drive. 3rd down and 4 for Utah. So we've got 2:30 remaining on a running clock. Here's Cox turning it upfield and down at the 40.
Cox on the carry. Picked up a couple, brings up 4th and short.
4th down and a yard after the carry by Cox. Utah gonna go for it.
Going for it on 4th.
They've had a couple 4th down conversions in this first half, including 2 on their opening drive. 4th and a yard, and boy, it looked like some movement there right near the snap as Lane keeps it.
I don't think she got it either.
She's certainly close. The officials are coming in right near that marker. Going to depend on the spot and where they have it, but did you see some movement, or were my eyes deceiving
No,
me?
you were right. She started a little bit before the snap, and it looks like that could be a huge stop. I think that's a stopper.
Yeah.
For Austin, that's a great job defensively.
So much, and you could probably speak to this more than I could, but around marking the ball, front of the yard line, back of the yard line, and that time just a half of a yard shy. And the Austin defense, how about this back-to-back stops here in the last 6 minutes of this first half?
And this is where the defense is coming off, and as the offense is coming on, defense is kind of looking at the offense like, okay, now we got 2 stops. We need something, do something on this drive, get us some points. This is what we asked them to do.
Yeah.
They got the 2 stops offensively. They've had opportunities to move the ball down the field, but credit Utah's defense, but they need their offense, Austin does, to come away with some type of points with 1 minute and 57 seconds left in this half.
Yeah, and no timeouts to play with. So, I mean, you've got to be a little conscientious of the plays you call here. Kelly Allen back at quarterback for Austin. She will hand off. That ball's on the turf, and Allen was there and alert, able to jump on it for a loss of 2. And how about Utah taking a timeout here? We mentioned it. This is a team that scores 45 points per game, and Coach Rasmussen never going to shy away from an opportunity to score the football. Not often do you see a team with a 4-possession lead inside of 2 minutes and a half take a timeout, but that's what Utah does.
Because he understands it's only a 4. You're only down 4 plays.
Yes. To the number 2 scoring offense in the league.
That can throw the football, and he kind of understands, like, hey, I know where we are vulnerable defensively in the secondary against these wide receivers, so we have to make sure we put up as much points as possible or give ourselves a chance to put up as much points as possible so we can come away victorious. So if you're Austin, you just can't try to run out this clock. You have to make sure you get at least 1 first down to force them to use their timeouts.
Exactly right. Utah does have 1 more timeout, but that would be enough if they could get a stop to receive possession back. And they've actually had some pursuit on some of those punts. I don't know that I'd say they've come close to blocking them, but they've certainly had a couple of players get within 2-3 yards of the punter. So they've certainly found a way to get back there and put some pressure on. It will be a 2nd down and 12 here for Austin coming out of the timeout. And a team that had a real tough semifinal. They defeated the Houston Energy 16-8, well below their average offensively and above their average defensively, but got the win nonetheless. They will go to the ground, and this is Fuller. She's not able to pick up much as it was Trina Iono tracking her down from behind.
See another quick timeout right there by the Falcons. Again, now it's 3rd and long. You don't want to throw the ball, but you don't want to have an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
So you want to run off as much time on this clock as possible because you want to help them out by stopping the clock. So this would be an interesting play call for Austin.
And if you do throw the ball, a place where you've had success throwing is to the perimeter, right? I mean, we've seen some of those slants and even that last post where the interception was. When the ball's gone to the middle of the field, it's been trouble. So wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe stick it to the boundaries.
I think that's where they have to go. And if you don't want to do a classic drop back, you want to roll your quarterback out left to right, to make it easier for her to complete a pass so that way you keep the clock moving. But you don't want to throw over the middle of the field because right now she's having problems trying to find a passing lane, and it's affecting her accuracy, and that ball is starting to sail. She's throwing it too hard or she's throwing it blindly, and that could be a problem. You don't want to give up a turnover, but you also don't want to stop the clock.
3rd down and 10, and Utah obviously trying to get the ball back so they can have another offensive shot here before the half. 1:44 remaining, 3rd down and back to the ground with Fuller. How about Fuller getting through a couple of tackles, and she'll be real close to the 1st down. That ball came out, but an official right there saying that she was down.
I think she got the first.
I think she did as well.
It's a great job. They catch him with a quick draw play on a 3rd and long. They're not suspecting it. Give it to your best player, and she put the first.
25 left in the half.
So a big play there. And boy, if Austin's able to score here, maybe a little bit of making Coach Rasmussen take his own medicine, taking those timeouts and giving Austin more time as once again it's Fuller able to pick up a head of steam and another 10 yards.
Brett Favre once said the best thing to do in a 2-minute situation is just keep picking up first downs. Time will take care of itself, but if you keep picking up first downs, you're going to find yourself where you need to be.
It was another 1st down. The clock not stopping on 1st downs in the IWFL. As we are inside of 1 minute to play. That ball maybe caught Allen a bit by surprise. She gives it off to Facey, and she stood up right at the line.
Facey on carry.
Clock still running, and no more timeouts for the Yellow Jackets.
They accomplished a lot of what they wanted to do. They wanted to get Utah to burn that last timeout.
Yep.
They want to pick up a couple of first downs, pick up some momentum going into halftime. Now, if they can get a big chunk play here, they can start talking points.
And again, Allen certainly has the arm to get it down to the field. They're going to stay on the ground here as a penalty flag comes on. Fuller dropped for a loss on the play.
This may be a legal motion here on Austin.
Flag on the play.
Our officials talking. Getting our call here from our head official, and right there.
Legal motion. We've seen this on a couple of plays where they're not fully set just yet. Two people moving at the same time.
Third down and 15.
Clock is still going to roll.
And of course, because of the loss, no interest in taking that penalty, keeping it a 3rd and 14 here. As you mentioned, clock running down to 12. 5 receivers. Expect this one to be thrown as far as Allen can. Looking over, that ball caught and hit immediately by Memory Ware. And with that, the first half is expired. Well, it was a good one for the Utah Falcons. They've got a 28-0 lead over the Austin Yellow Jackets in the IWFL National Championship game. We'll step away for halftime. We'll see you back here in 20 minutes for the second half between the Austin Yellow Jackets and the Utah Falcons. This is a great combination of size and speed. It's the speed on display here. Jump ball.
Makes the grab, it's a touchdown! I cannot believe what I just saw.
To you in that first half.
Just a flawless execution offensively by Utah with their passing game as well as their running game. And I honestly like how they're playing defensively for Austin. So it's been a well-played game. We're just going to see it start to play out, hopefully, for Austin on the scoreboard.
Obviously, the score is pretty one-sided right now. Austin will receive the kick to start this second half. What they have to do differently to have more success and get back in this game?
I think they're completely out of toes as far as shooting themselves in the foot, right? So offensively, it's about putting one foot in front of the other, string positive plays together, and try to get points on the board.
This ball caught by one of the up backs, one of the blockers, and a nice return on the play up to the 41-yard line. Austin, as you mentioned, they'd had opportunities. That was Nikita Bowman who caught that and took it up to the 46. They've had opportunities, but penalties and a couple of miscues, untimely, have been to their undoing. Opportunity here to start the second half, and hopefully fresh for them.
Just come out in the second half, gain some momentum. You already got good field position. Now you're moving on the plus side of the 50. You're in their territory already. You couldn't ask for a better start. Now it's about coming with a consecutive positive play and not doing anything negative with the football.
Allen taking her time here, making sure everyone's on the same page. We mentioned the miscues, and there's, at some point you got to start playing clean, and right now understanding the need to have success here on this drive. Here's Fuller with the carry up inside 40 to the 39-yard line.
It's a nice patient run right there by Fuller. Nice outside zone, patient. You found the hole, plant your foot, and head upfield. And again, 2 positive plays in a row. Can they keep this going? If they can, they'll find themselves in the end zone.
And I think the positive thing, you mentioned it after that first down, is getting upfield, right? Planting your foot in the turf and shooting north and south. And 2 plays where they've done that, and it's led to a first down. 1st and 10 on the. And how about going down and snagging that ball by Shepard?
You talking a heck of a grab. That's going low, all hands, and scooping that ball off turf. Again, doing a great job now, mixing a little bit of their passing game with their running game and having some success.
You mentioned very well coached, technically very, very good, using their hands. Now it becomes up to Kelly Allen, the quarterback, to get the ball in their area. She threw interception on an overthrow in the first half, but looking good here in the second. Back to the ground and a carry here for a pickup of a yard, and I think a first down.
Should be a first down. Yep, they're going to move the sticks. And again, I love patience. I love the play call.
First down, Yellow Jackets.
Can't get greedy because they see a one-on-one opportunity out on the flanks with no safety help, but that's a pretty player out there on the corner. Stick with the game plan. Don't try to get greedy and try to keep this ball in your possession.
Patience, patience. You still have a good 27 minutes to play, but that being said, Hankey's come in, and Utah was showing that blitz, and it maybe caught one of the linemen and got them to come out of their stance. And it will. This one going to come back for Austin.
It's the one negative play that they couldn't allow.
False start offense, prior penalty, replay first
False
down.
start will make it first down and 15.
First and 15.
Allen back to the ground, and Fuller able to shoot forward with a head full of steam up to the 31.
I like the way she runs the football, and you see what they're doing. We talked about this in the first half. They started doing this in the first half, splitting those wide receivers out wide. You see one wide receiver at the top of the screen, at the bottom of the number, one here at the bottom of the screen near the sideline. It reduces the box, gives them favorable numbers, and that's why they're having such success running the football.
The throw, that ball picked off. Picked off by Music. Music trying to return it to the house. It's Facey giving chase. She won't get her. A penalty flag comes in on play. It's a touchdown for Utah, pending the outcome of the flag, and I think that these points are going to come off the board.
You better trust your arm if you're going to try to make a wide field throw. That ball hung out there. Good decision, but a bad throw. Fell right into the arms of that defensive back, that linebacker, and she was able to bring it back to the house.
Was there a little bit of hesitation on the play there by Allen? It seemed like if she throws that maybe a second earlier, the slant is open.
That hesitation invited the defense back into the play because they had them beat prior. So it looks like the touchdown won't count. But that's unfortunate because that's a huge play. It's still going to be a big-time turnover that gets them on their end. But if you're the quarterback for Austin, you got to get that ball out quickly, or if you see that drifting backer, you got to eat that ball and throw it away.
Yeah, and that one is a costly turnover. The second interception of the game thrown by Allen. It was Danielle Music able to read it beautifully. Her touchdown return won't count. It was a block it back. The ball will come out. It will be first down and 10 for Utah on the Austin 15-yard line. Of course, Louise Bean coming back out to start this second half for Utah, and what a first half she had. A pair of touchdown throws to Floor. She will hand off here on the play with Tella, and Tella a good strong run, picking up 8 yards.
That inside trap is killer because now you're flying up the football field, you're vacating your responsibilities, leaving those inside lanes wide open, and they're able to take advantage of it.
Pick up of 8. Second and 2.
Second and 2 here for Utah. Motion by Cox. They give it to the IWL's leading rusher, and that time not much to go as the defense was there on the edge. Couldn't tell who got there for Austin, but it's a good job. Cox has had a lot of success around the perimeter tonight. Austin was able to flow there and limit her for no gain.
You see good team defense right now by Austin. You know, they're not giving up despite being in a back situation. They've done a good job so far as staying in the game till they on defense. They need their offense to really help them out.
They do. We mentioned those untimely plays and the penalty setting up the interception. Third down and 3 here for Utah, and on the other end, they played a pretty near perfect game. How about the play action being wide open in the end zone? Caught, touchdown, Utah! Andrea Chilton wide open off the play action. It's an 8-yard touchdown throw, the third of the night for Louise Bean.
I found about it in college football or the NFL or high school that no one guards a tight end on the goal line. Tight end is always open, but when you run an option like that and they come with that play action fake on a naked bootleg, somebody's going to be wide open, and they found him right there in the end zone for a touchdown. Great job right there by Bean. Once again, she's playing a meaningful game from the quarterback position.
She really has. She's been fantastic tonight for Utah. And score now 34-0 is Emerini coming on for the point after. She's been perfect tonight. This one perfect as well. And it is 35-0. The Utah Falcons out in front.
It's funny how Austin's offense, which was highly billed coming to this ballgame, top billed, one of the best offenses in the IWFL, has been the reason why they're out of this ballgame right now.
It really speaks to the defense of Utah, and we touched on this again, but it's just phenomenal when you think about it. This is an 8-game regular season, and then Utah's had 2 playoff games. Austin has had 1. Just the setup of the conferences. But that being said, Utah only allowed 8 points during the regular season. in 8 games. They gave up a touchdown in the Western Conference Final. That doubled the total points they've given up on the season. I mean, not officially, it's from 8 to 15, but close enough. I mean, the defense for Utah, it's done it to opponents all year long, regardless of their skill set, and it's doing it again here tonight.
Well, you see why, because everyone is doing their job. Everyone is playing assignment football. 9 times out of 10, you don't see that linebacker drift into the flat, continuing to do their responsibility if no action is going their way. Their eyes tend to be focused on the backfield, but great job right there to keep your eyes in the backfield by Alcala to pick off that ball and find herself almost with a pick 6.
Well, and one of the other things, I mean, and you had mentioned it, right? Those far receivers that they split out wide, they don't even come in for the huddle. And so it's easy to think ball's not going to them, they're in on the play, right? But, I mean, a heady play to stay true to assignment is here's the kickoff, and boy, nearly a block in the back. It will. A penalty coming in here. This return coming back, and it's a shame for Austin because a great return by Juliet Turner. That's all going to be for naught as this pen flag back at the 22.
You kind of saw that coming a mile away,
Yeah.
man. If you see the back of the numbers, stay away. It's going to be a block in the back.
Well, and it's typically, I mean, the problem with going east and west on kick returns, right? I mean,
Angles
everyone has a
change.
lane and assignment, and it's so easy to come back and try to get that late block, and that time, again, costing the Yellow Jackets. Call there officially. It is a block in the back on Austin. Big penalty. Backing them up once again to the 12. So the offense coming out for Austin deep in their own territory, 35-0. The Utah Falcons, again, averaging 45 per game offense this season. And again, the offense been flying high here tonight.
Their famously delicious barbecue. They've been the Utah Falcons' 5th quarter restaurant all season, so join the famous nation and swing by.
Allen will stay in at quarterback.
The best barbecue in town.
A late change in the formation is coming near side here will be Turner in the slot to the bottom of the screen. Now motion coming across, and it is a sweep. Boy, good block laid there by Turner.
Right. Turner kind of got the great block and kind of admired it. You got to keep blocking. You got to keep going.
You know, it's a good job, but there's still work to be done. Nice job by Girk, able to gain a couple yards.
2nd and 8 for the Yellow.
And they have the talent to really put a dent in this score, but it's about not committing costly mistakes. Defensively, they've been there. Offensively, they've had their opportunities, but it's 2 positive plays, 1 negative play. Let's see if they can find some consistency within their offense.
You know, it's interesting talking with this Utah staff before the game. They said, well, we got to, take the ball. We got to play a clean game. And they certainly have, but that's been the aspect, whether it's penalties, turnovers for Austin that has been their complete undoing here tonight, is that snap bobbled and a loss on the play for the Yellow Jackets.
3rd and 10 for the Yellow Jackets.
You start to see players walking back to the huddle,
Yep.
arguing with one another. That's when you start to see a team slowly start to fall apart. You feel the bottom starting to fall out. But if they can get one big positive play, it'll get them right back in the game mentally.
Well, and it's tough. I mean, you're at Utah's home stadium. You're down 35-0. It's second half. Nothing's really gone right for you tonight, at least sustained. It's easy for that to, start feeling sorry for yourself as this ball a little underthrown. Intended target was Juliet Turner, as it will bring up a 4th down now for Austin.
And see, that's the thing. You can't allow mental mistakes to become physical mistakes,
Yeah.
because it will happen in the football game. And if you allow that to happen, that's when you start to see fumble snaps, drop balls, thrown into bad coverage, penalties, turnovers. All those things will happen if you're not mentally in tune into the game.
And when those heads drop, right, then it's like, that snowball running down the mountain, right? I mean, it just gets bigger and bigger and worse, and until you can really stand up and, pick your heads back up, it's tough to stop bleeding. 4th down and 10 for Austin. They're looking to punt here, and once again, it is Iono back for the Utah Falcons. She's standing at the Austin 40 as this kick is high but short. And it will be downed at the Austin 35. Good field position for the Falcons to come out here on this next drive. 9:12 left in the 3rd quarter.
past the line of scrimmage, but it's not. That's why she was about to pitch it
Yeah.
late, and it would have been a big game. But good job holding on to that football because it also could have been a turnover. But I understand what she was seeing on that particular play.
Did you play in an option offense in college?
Absolutely not.
That ball pitched to
It's a
Iono.
great
and
tackle.
Guess who?
Exactly. Once again, Tori Fuller has been on every tackle on a perimeter. She does not miss an opportunity to make a play in space. I'm a big fan of her game.
You know, there are a lot of all-stars on both sidelines here tonight, but some have really popped. And Tony Fuller, boy, she has popped tonight. I mean, she has been a fantastic player for the Yellow Jackets all over the field and been one of their leading rushers, and defensively, she's certainly leading them in tackles and big plays. 3rd and 5. And this is right up the middle. Boy, that one fooled me, but it didn't fool the line. Nice job coming up and making the tackle, Jennifer Taylor.
Once again, defensively, the Yellow Jackets have played a great game.
Yeah.
You know, they've just been on the field so often. Their offense has had opportunities. They've had chances to put points up on the board, but you're putting your defense back out on the field. Defense is getting restless, but they're not giving up. And I like to see that from a defense that has their back against the wall.
You know, there comes a point in ball games, and especially ones that get pretty one-sided, where you just start playing for pride. And it's good to see that Yellow Jacket defense still taking some pride in their effort here in the national championship. 4th down and 4. Here's Lane rolling to her left, and she's going to get sacked. Big play coming up by Frank Stable. Francesca Stable. My apologies. I knew my roster couldn't be right, and Emery Hunt backing me up there. Francesca Stable with a nice sack and a turnover on downs.
I like to watch people burn. You're right. Francesca Stable did a great job showing the speed, the closing speed to the quarterback, man. And defenses, they're not giving up. And Utah quietly has had issues with this defense, especially their defensive line. And that was a big question or concern coming into this ball game. How will they handle the size and athleticism up front of Austin? They've done a good job, but they had their issues with this defense. But on the flip side, their defense has really put the kibosh on this offense of Austin.
They really have. Once again, 3 backs, 2 receivers split wide, and we've got movement again. That offensive line going to get called here for the false start.
As Jennifer Taylor, who is coming off making very good plays defensively, now she's playing both sides like we talked about in the pregame. She's playing both sides of the ball, but you gotta keep your head in the game because those are mental mistakes.
You know, it's one of the things, we touched on it earlier, the depth that Utah has, but when you see a play like that by Jennifer Taylor, she makes the big play defensively, and then offensively, mental error. Well, she's playing both ways. Utah's not, right? And so, you're trying to get out of your stance. You're trying to get in the right positioning so that you can stand up a fresh player. And, I mean, it's easy for you to sometimes come out of your stance early. As a nice carry on the play there by Fuller, picking up 8 yards.
The funny part is that we thought the altitude would have an issue, but we've seen the same speed and explosiveness from all their key players, even their defensive linemen. They haven't been tired in this ballgame.
It's a great point. It's a great point. And it was something that actually Austin didn't seem too worried about, the elevation difference. Once again, it's Fuller across midfield to the 45-yard line, a pickup of 16, and Tony Fuller just once again taking Austin and putting them on her back.
Such a smooth runner, man.
Yeah.
Patient runner, picking and sliding her way, showing the situational explosiveness. Okay, I'm going to use my speed here. I'm going to take a little bit off here. And she's doing a great job on both ends. She's been playing her tail off in this ball game.
Well, that's going to be one tired Yellow Jacket when this ball game's over. She is giving all on both ends tonight. Back to Fuller again, looking for a hole. Stiff arm there as she's able to pick up 4 yards on the carry.
Starting to see that offensive line. Again, it's different when you're just facing a power running team. Let's say like Hawaii or a big offensive lineman. But now you add athleticism to size. Now you're looking at Alabama. And that's the difference. You know, this team, Austin, can move up front on both sides. Their offensive line is essentially their defensive line. And that level of size and explosiveness has really given Utah some problems. We're seeing it right here on this drive.
And an impressive drive. I mean, this drive started back at their own 12, if I recall correctly. This has been their most successful drive of the night as they are now in Utah territory at the 40. Here's Facey trying to stretch this play out, trying to get to the perimeter, spins inside, and a pickup of 3 by Marissa Facey.
That's the first time they had a little bit of success running outside. Previously, you saw Fuller do a good job getting to the perimeter, but you see the offensive line just starting to move that Utah Falcons line back, and this is what you expected to see coming in, and you want to see this continue. Maybe they can get points on this drive and start to build some momentum, but you like what you're seeing here, stringing multiple plays in a row, and this is probably the best drive of the game for.
It'll bring up a 3rd down, 2 yards to go for the Yellow Jackets, still looking for their first points of the night. Fuller, boy, there was a little bit of a delay. This isn't a delay give, but a little slow. Once she got the ball spinning off, and Fuller inside the 30 as a penalty flag has come in. I'm guessing this is going to be around a holding of sorts as our referee in discussion here. We've got a block in the back on Austin, so once again a penalty that would have given Austin first down. Instead, the penalty will back it up, and instead of 1st and 10 will be 3rd and 8.
Still manageable situation right here for Austin. They've had success running the football. I think they've pretty much not given, but sort of realized that, hey, we may not throw the football again this quarter. We're going to try to run the football. Running the football has gotten them all the way down the field. We may see 2 consecutive run plays here because it is 4-down territory.
I'm with you. The passing game has not had a lot of success tonight for Austin, and I really, it's taken them a while to maybe adjust their play calling to that. They've done it here on this drive, but wouldn't be surprised to see some runs here. 4:04 left here in the 3rd quarter. Back to round and not much room to go. Tell you what, A for effort, Shira Miller, but boy, it was just Falcon after Falcon, dropping her for a loss too.
Credit her for trying to break every tackle in Utah just now. But good job by the Falcons playing great team defense. One guy gets back there, the player jumps up and gets back there, and it's just great team defense. 11 women to the ball is how you stop the run.
And it's one of the things, again, we've talked about it with Utah. I apologize for, beating a dead horse, but the depth of Utah, I mean, we've seen 3, 4, 5 different backs tonight. And for Austin, you can't run Tony Fuller every play, right? Like, she's human. You get tired. So who's that next back? They've tried to get Facey going. That time it's Miller. You can't give it to Fuller every time. The depth of the running back position is a big difference in these teams.
Don't tell that to Chuck Knox. He wants to run the ball every play. Chuck will give it to the running back 50 times a game if you let him.
Well, and I'm all down with giving it to the running back, right? But it's one thing when you have, there's only one Tony Fuller, and that skill and that ability that she has not quite been the same with some of the backup backs that they've had to come in and spell her.
All right, there's a significant difference between what Fuller brings and what everyone else brings. And there's no knock against the others. It's that Fuller has that type of ability to change field position and really flip the game open.
So how about these Utah Falcons look to be on pace to win their 2nd consecutive back-to-back champions in the IWFL. And of course, in the first round, they beat the Carson Bobcats 26-0, and then in the conference championship, defeating the Sacramento Sirens 51-7. We mentioned they averaged 45 points offensively a game, 1 point given up defensively per game. And, going end to end, really, they were probably the favorites. And when you see tonight the depth they have, the skill set of their players, it's no wonder that these Utah Falcons have been unable to be touched by the rest of the IWFL this year.
Yeah, that Sacramento Sirens game really shocked me because that's one of the premier programs in all of women's tackle football, regardless of league. And to put up 51 points on them, that's saying something.
4th down. Austin going to go for it. Looking over the top. That ball caught. We've mentioned it. The skill set of these receivers is impressive, and it's Juliet Turner getting around the corner. She had to slow up for it, but makes the big play, and it's a 1st down.
They're going to win every one-on-one opportunity. They can win that 50-50 ball. You wish you would have seen this consistently in the first half. I know we keep bringing up the first half because that's what turned this game around. We saw defense get stops. Offense had success, had opportunities, but consistency is what has plagued them, which is why they're down 35-0 in this ballgame.
And I think the key you hit there is they'll win the one-on-one battles, but when you bring it inside and there's other congestion there, be it linebackers or safeties, things can get a little dicey. First down for Austin. After the big fourth down completion, Fuller on the ground, able to evade one Falcon. It'll take 2 to bring her down after picking up 3.
And she has a nasty stiff arm as well. This is about
she
fifth
does.
player. She's stiff arming this ball game. And again, people may look at size, but I always say size is not a skill. Something moving that fast is going to naturally be strong. I'm not a physics guy, but that's simple physics right there. You know, speed equals power. So good job right there getting positive yards on first down.
You know, it's one of the things, you don't become a defense that only gives up 1 point per game by being bad at tackling, right? This is a
Exactly.
good tackling defense, and yet Fuller's been able to evade and get out of a lot of tackles. Facey here has to leap over a Falcon, still on her feet, not giving up. She'll lean forward to pick up a yard.
Fights for 2 hard-fought yards.
Obviously a bit of a spell there for Fuller as we've got an injured Falcon on the play there. Calling for some assistance. Looks like just cramping going on here.
Which is what I wouldn't have expected in Utah. Cramping from a Utah Falcon.
Hey, we're still human.
It's true. That's true. That's true.
Taking a break here to deal with the injured player. 1:39 left here in the third. Austin on the move in the third quarter of the IDL National Championship.
Including the Falcons dog. Dave, my spotter producer, had 12 at halftime. I had 1. He seems very happy now. Also, we have some merchandise / apparel available. And at last count, we had 10 official footballs for sale. And these could be wonderful collector's items in the future. So head down to the IWFL booth or down to the concession stands for some great food and apparel. And Nicole just brought up our lucky sticker. This ticket will win another IWFL commemorative ball. This will be worth it.
On Allen. It'll bring up a 4th down and 14 here for Austin. Trying to find their first points of the night as we're inside 1 minute remaining here in the third quarter. Allen to throw. Looking downfield over the middle, and that ball incomplete. It hit Renee Shepard in the hands, but ball fluttered a little bit, and that delay allowed that pressure to come down and put some pressure on Shep, make it fall incomplete.
Even in that drop, that ball hit her dead in the hands, and she was able to extend out, and she's supposed to grab that. It hit her right in the hands. She showed perfect form, just couldn't come up with the catch.
Is that a footsteps issue? You hear or you feel that defense closing down on you?
You saw a little bit of Wally Gator right there,
Yeah.
a little bit of alligator arm coming up short, trying to put it all back in. You're trying to brace for the hit and secure the catch, but you have to make sure you secure the catch first. Coach will tell you you're going to get hit anyway.
Yep.
So make sure you catch the football.
And that might have been the first drop ball of the night tonight for Austin.
Exactly.
I can't think of another one.
At all.
So Utah takes over on downs at their own 29-yard line. This ball given off up the middle. It is again on the carry for no gain.
Should be the last play of the third quarter.
Tell of the gain of 1.
Clock inside of 20 seconds left. Should mention Sarah Galika, the quarterback for the Falcons on this drive. And as you mentioned, Emery, that will take us to the end of the third. The Falcons get 7, and they lead at 35-0, 15 minutes away from the 2017 National Championship.
Ogden Pioneer Days, sponsored by the Wadman Corporation.
It's the Ogden Pioneer Day Rodeo, July 19th through the 24th. 5 nights real rodeo under the stars in Pioneer Stadium. If you love barebacks and saddle broncs, tie down and steer wrestling, team roping, the beautiful cowgirls apparel racing, and wild Brahma bull riding, we have you covered. Get your tickets early at OgdenPioneerDays.com at the Ogden Pioneer Days office on 18th and Washington. Featuring the toughest cowboys, the roughest bulls and broncs, crowning of Miss Rodeo Utah. Enjoy it all with reserved seats. Witness broncs, bulls, and bays at Utah's only Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame Rodeo. July 19th through the 24th. It's the Ogden Pioneer.
And they threw peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the crowd. It's still going wild.
Isn't there a song like Peanut Butter Jelly Time?
They played it all through the. It was awesome.
Nice job by the Yellow Jacket defense. A stop there on 3rd down, bringing up a 4th and 9. And Utah looking like they're going to punt here.
I just thought it was just amazing. And it's funny because they throw stuff on. Now, granted, it used to be when your team is going to the Orange Bowl, you clinch that berth, you throw oranges on the field. But I just thought that the tortillas at Texas Tech and the slice of bread at Penn, totally unrelated, but it was just amazing to see. Now we're here with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches being tossed in the crowd.
It's old school and new school all at the same time.
Exactly.
Rainey, that rugby-style punt, and that ball's loose. And it is Austin recovering it. Boy, and that time looked like they wanted to run an option near side and end up turning the ball over. Jumping on it, I think, was Francesca Stable for the Yellow Jackets, and they'll gain possession at the Utah 23.
They're going to be proud of how well they played defensively, and that
Yes.
defense didn't give up. Their defense stayed in this ball game mentally and physically for 4 quarters. So I've been mostly impressed with Austin's defensive effort. Offensively, obviously, I like Utah's play calling and how they've stayed multiple within their option attack. And we just want to see, at least for the duration of this 4th quarter, maybe Austin's offense can finally put the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Utah had the big 70-yard passing touchdown, but the other touchdowns that they had, I mean, they've had drives, don't get me wrong, but a couple of them have been set up by offensive miscues of Austin. And to your point, the defense really has done a nice job here tonight. It's a 1st down for Austin. Single back in the backfield. Allen looking to throw to her right, throwing out, and that ball's behind the intended target. And tell you what, fortunate that time that Loretta Cooper doesn't turn around. If she does, she probably has an interception.
And that's where placement matters for a quarterback. You saw the receiver had defensive back beat on the outside. Now, again, that's a wide field throw, a far hash throw. So that ball has to be thrown with a little bit more anticipation, or you have to put it right where it needs to be. That ball was late. It was behind the receiver, and she's lucky that ball didn't get picked off and head the other way.
Yeah, would have been 6 unless there was a block in the back.
Exactly.
We
had that
first
situation before.
2nd down and 10. Motion on the play by Kirk. She gets the handoff. Turning inside. Kirk still feet trying to be wrapped up. Her progress will get her to the 16-yard line, and credit for a gain of 7 on the carry.
You can see why Austin was one of the top teams in the IWFL. Their offense is multiple.
Yep.
They have tremendous playmakers. They excel in passing game, obviously, and defensively they're athletic. And you can also see why Utah has been tough to move the ball against or tough to score on and so dynamic is because of precise they are and what they run offensively and how they exit a high level defensively. They don't get beat often.
Well, and the thing that stands out about Utah defensively is every level is on cue. You know, the defensive line, the linebackers, the secondary, every level is so solid. It's hard to attack them and do it on a consistent basis as the 2nd down throw falls incomplete.
And I've never seen a team that is so disciplined to where I can't recall how many penalties we've seen against Utah. I don't think any.
I was thinking the same. Well, no, the block in the back was one, right?
Right.
But I was thinking the same thing. I mean, the penalty got to be 12-1. I mean, Utah's done a really fantastic job of playing a near perfect game here tonight.
And that, again, the coaching at this level is top notch for both teams. You know, we talked before the game and how from the top down, Utah has done a great job with their staff, with their organization. That's why they're here. That's why they've been in back-to-back championship games.
3rd and 10, looking deep, and that ball caught at the 5. What a great job by the Austin receiver to go up, shield off the defender, and come down with a big catch.
A play doesn't care who's there to make it. It just wants to be made. And when that ball is in the air, it's anybody's football. You have to like those receivers of Austin going up, like we've talked about, at its highest point and coming down with the reception. That's big-time effort right there by the receivers.
Juliet Turner, and she has been so good here tonight. Again, the size of these receivers for the Yellow Jacket, it's one of the strengths of their roster. I'm going to hand off here on 1st and goal. This is to Facey. Facey trying to move the pile. She'll take it down to the 2.
And there's no moral victories in football, but you like to see Austin punch the ball into the end zone and have their hard work pay off. And so, you know, maybe they can get things going. You never know what could happen in the football game. But you want to see them try a touchdown here in this situation. And you also want to see this defense of Utah being put to the test. Can they step up to the challenge and keep them out of the end zone?
Yes. I mean, again, it goes back to not many teams have scored on Utah this year, right? And so, I mean, even getting in the end zone, it was one of the questions, can Austin find a way to score enough points? Well, they're just trying some points, but it'd be a really nice way to end what's been a tough ball game tonight for Austin if they can find the end zone here. 2nd and goal. Back to the ground, and boy, that hole goes up quickly on Fuller.
And Fuller has that ability to get skinny, so to speak, and try to slice through an open hole, but credit Utah's defensive line for maintaining the line of scrimmage, closing that gap, and getting a stop right there at the line of scrimmage.
3rd and goal, and an opportunity for this Utah defense to stand up once again, make strong stand. Of course, the Utah governor, Gary Herbert, in the house tonight. He was a part of the opening coin flip, and obviously he's been, I don't want to say a stroke of luck because this is a good team, but it's been a good night for him to come out and attend Falcons football.
Shows you the importance of women's tackle football in the state of Utah.
Pulling the governor, it's impressive. 3rd and goal carry, and nowhere to go for Fuller again. That front 7 stepping up for Utah.
Here's an interesting play call right now. 4th and goal from the 4-yard line, and I think right now you got to give your quarterback a run-pass option. Granted, she's not the type to get outside and sprint and beat on the perimeter, but you want to give it a little bit of movement because right now it's going to run downhill against this stout interior of Utah. Hasn't proved to be successful for us. So maybe a run-pass option, maybe something of a half waggle or rollout, and let her utilize those receivers that she has that can go up and make a play up top.
It's a great point you made. We saw Utah do something very similar with Bean. The play action had a wide open receiver. The issue here is that Allen is a right-handed quarterback, and so if you were to roll to her right side, your short side of the field, there's still options, just maybe not as much space.
And you don't know how deep their playbook is, but this is a situation where you have a half rollout, throw back across the far side of the field. So that way you're not, like you mentioned, you're not having a right-handed passer throw to her left. You're stopping, setting up, and throw back across the field. But we don't know if they had that play in the playbook. But that's something that you normally see in college football. But we'll see what they call here. They may just be a straight drop back and throw it up to your wide receiver and let your big play wide receiver go up and make a play.
And I think that's, I mean, if I'm Austin, I think that's what I do. We've seen Juliet Turn as well as Monisha Kirk really use their size to the advantage against some of these defensive backs for Austin. And if you can split them wide, get that man coverage along the perimeter, that's where they've really seen success in the passing game.
I mean, at this point in the game, you might even pull out all the stops and have a quick double pass. And granted, it's only for 4 yards. Nice little bubble screen to your tailback Fuller. Have her then toss it over to a receiver wide. So we'll see here. It's a big play of the game.
Truly the czar of the playbook. So many options.
So many options here.
4th and goal. The Utah crowd trying to help their defense here. Trying to keep the big 0 on the board. Again, 3 in the backfield with Allen. It's been the formation we've seen them use the most here in the second half. A handoff. Trying to speed outside through one tackle. And she's going to be stopped short. The defense holds to borrow a local call. And Utah forces the turnover downs.
See, that's the difference between what we saw earlier in the game where the fullback for Utah was able to plant her foot in the ground and head upfield. They had opportunities right there to get into the end zone to try to string it out. And great job stringing out that run play by Utah, playing great perimeter defense and stopping them right at the goal line.
It was the exact thing I thought about. And you go back to that first half in Jordan Willis, right? She knows, as you said, she's going to have a meeting at the goal line.
Exactly.
I think is what you said.
A physical discussion.
The physical discussion, that's what it was. And she went and she sought it. And for Austin, trying to speed around it as opposed to just digging in and getting up the field and trying to create the contact. And it ends up in Austin not getting any points.
Again, I've already explained to the audience that I'm not a physics guy. I'm also not a geometry guy, but the quickest way between point A and point B is where? Straight ahead, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do when you're right there at the goal line. Don't try to get too cute. Don't try to get creative. Just get what you need and get the ball in the end zone. But that's a heck of a stop right there by Utah.
And maybe the most telling thing, I mean, I don't care what league of football you're in, right? If you're 8-year-olds, when you've only given up 8 points in 8 games and 15 points in 10 games, it says something to your ability. And so the ability of the Utah defense to make the stand there on 4th and goal from inside the 5 just speaks to what's really been their call card all year long.
They haven't panicked, man. They show right there. Normally teams will panic in that situation, but this is a well-coached team, a balanced and well-disciplined team that didn't panic in that crucial situation.
And it was first and goal from the 5. So 4 opportunities from inside the 5-yard line. Impressive stand. Now they've got to avert the safety, and looks like right here they just knee, or she get tripped up.
I think she got tripped up.
So that'll break the no score. How about that? You make a big defensive stand, and then the safety in the end zone will put 2 points on the board for Austin. They're on the board, and it's 35-2. That's
Points
peculiar.
don't listen. At least you didn't get shut out.
There you
right?
go.
That's what the coaches will say. But a good job. I think they did give up the 2 points.
And I couldn't tell if she took a knee or if she got tripped up. We haven't seen a center quarterback exchange issue at all tonight for Utah. So it's hard to me to think she got up. Did she take a knee there to avert giving up 7 and give up the 2? I don't know, but I mean at this point it is kind of a moot point. It is what it is.
And I don't want to diminish what we've seen all night from Austin's defensive line.
Yes.
They could have gotten interior pressure like they have done all game long and caused that safety, but either way they get 2 points, they get the ball back, and now they can see if they can finally finish off a drive, a touchdown. Easier said than done, but we'll see if they can get that done.
And they just had a really nice drive. I mean, it didn't end in a touchdown. You can't really end it in a safety, although I guess you kind of can. It doesn't really work like that. Just had a really nice drive. 9:25 left here in the contest, and now looks like we switched fields and shouldn't have switched sides. So we'll do a alignment here, but as you had mentioned, Austin will receive the free kick here. Of course, the season finale. It's been a fun week here in Salt Lake City. Had the Affiliate Bowl, the Founders Bowl. Earlier today, the All-Star game. We mentioned a lot of All-Stars on both of these rosters. And then tonight, the championship game coming to you from Salt Lake City, the IWFL National Championship weekend. It's been a busy one for these players and coaches, but a well-earned reward for very fine seasons for both these two squads.
I've had a lot of fun this week in Salt Lake City. Definitely a place I'll come back to.
I was going to say, your first time here, right?
First time here. I'm enjoying it, man. Now, you won't catch me in February here. Just put that out there. You won't catch me in the wintertime. But see this summer, spring-ish type deal?
Yeah.
I'm in.
We'd love to have you whenever you want to come.
I definitely would love to be back out here. I enjoy it, man. It's great food, great everything.
This ball couldn't be handled, and boy, just able to pick that up before a speeding bullet came in by the Utah Falcons. There to get the possession, I think might have been State. It's hard to tell the number on that one, but Austin able to pick it at the 49 of the Falcons.
This has been a well-played game as far as sportsmanship is concerned. We haven't seen any fisticuffs, any tempers flared. Both teams have been real professional. They've been cordial. They've done a great job in just playing the game and letting their play do the talking. And I just like seeing that.
What has been the difference tonight in your mind between Utah and Austin?
Inconsistency. And it's a shame because we've said this the entire broadcast. Austin has the talent to put points up on the board. It's obviously are the number 2 scoring offense in the league. But just those inconsistent moments of offense that kill drive, and those have been detrimental to team success. That's been the biggest difference.
A give here to Fuller on first down, and boy, good vision by Fuller. Tell you what, it goes outside, back in. It's a hard-earned 4 yards.
And defensively, they've been right there with Utah. They can play defense against anyone. We've seen a couple of big plays. Obviously, that option will yield itself to giving up a big play or two in the passing game. But for the most part, Austin has been up to the challenge. And I just think that those inconsistent moments on offense really hurt their chances to come away victorious.
2nd and 6. Handoff here, trying to get outside. And this Falcon defense stringing it out. As it is Facey able to pick up a couple yards on carry to the 43.
For the Yellow Jackets, beats off a couple tackles for a nice gain.
Marissa Facey, one of those all-stars.
3rd down and 4.
He's had a good year for Austin, and his rushing attack just couldn't get anything consistent tonight, to your point, as they face a 3rd down and 4. Here, 8:35 left in the contest. Again for Facey, trying the right side, and she'll be right at the sticks. I think she might be short.
As a runner, you have to make that decision a lot sooner when you want to get north and south. And there were a couple of lanes where you can plant your foot and get upfield. She got the first, but you have to make that decision earlier to really maximize the yardage opportunities on that particular.
And one of the things I think is tough, and saw it right there, is, you know, on running plays, your wide receivers, you want them to be blockers, right? Get downfield, lock up the outside. But it's hard to keep those corners locked up for that long when you keep spreading it out. To your point, get upfield and allow your receivers to be able to engage with a corner as opposed to let a corner win the battle over time.
Because great blocks will turn into holding calls
Yes.
if you let them stay out there too long.
Allen to throw on 1st down, looking down the sideline. That ball is behind the target but caught. Job coming back for that ball, and it's another 1st down for Austin.
You don't see receivers at the NFL level adjust to the football like she does. And I think that's just impressive because she was able to come to a full stop. She had the defender beat by like a yard or two, came to a full stop, adjusted, went up and caught the football, made a contested catch, and got her team in position inside the 20-yard line.
I mean, as great as Tony Fuller has been tonight, and she's been fantastic, Juliet Turner has done a fantastic job from her wide receiver position. And now maybe a timeout. Yes, we've got a timeout taken by Utah. They were trying to rush people on, and Coach Rasmussen to take timeout to save his team a penalty. 7:30 to go here in the 4th quarter, and the Utah Falcons out in front comfortably.
Everyone involved with Championship Weekend would like to go out of their way to thank the state of Utah government, the Utah Sports Mission, for making this weekend possible. We'd also like to thank the folks at Visit Salt Lake Tourism Bureau. They've been a big help. Additional sponsors include US MRI, Sports Med, Comprehensive Ortho, Chick-fil-A, First Utah Bank, Temple Square Tourism Dining, the Water Pocket, Snowbird Resort, and the Crystal Inn Hotel and Suites. Thanks to all our wonderful sponsors that made this weekend happen.
1st down for Austin. Motion on the play, and they'll give it to the motion. This is Shep looking for a place to turn upfield, and there just wasn't any. And a nice job defensively coming back and not giving up on the play by Michaela Minix.
You reach a point in the game where you're just trying to make something happen. You may do some things that you wouldn't normally do if the game was tight. So you probably would have seen the receiver or the runner cut up field and try.
Well, and it's one of those things, I mean, on that particular throw when you're on the near boundary, I mean, if you could throw a little bit of touch and get it over the defender. We saw Bean. She's been able to throw it over the corner at times, and that's been an aspect to Allen she hasn't been able to hit on tonight, and it's been a bit of a problem. Timeout here taken by Austin as they had personnel issues on 3rd and 16 when we come back. Third down, 17 yards to go. Back to the ground with Fuller, and a great play from the edge made by Minix to get a hand on her and trip her up.
At this point, you wonder why not just keep going with the YOLO balls. You know, you only live once, go deep down the field. Your receiver has shown the ability to make those plays one-on-one. Go for the chunk play. Yeah, I think that's where it's been a little bit of an inconsistent game plan.
Yeah.
Get away from what's working to go to what's not. And you've had that inconsistency all game long on the offense side.
And again, you got one-on-one on the top with no safety help there. Going to go to the ground instead. And Fuller, obviously, boy, she's going to pick up the first down. How about that? I mean, you've got 4th down and 17. We're saying throw the ball, quit running.
But you don't get beat twice. She stayed with Fuller and was able to make them keep her out of the end zone.
She's done that a couple times. I mean, that play that set up the 4th and long was a big loss on the carry, and it was Minix who came in trailing to make the tackle. She's done a fantastic job of not giving up on the play. More opportunities for this Utah defense to try to stand stout. If Austin is able to score a touchdown, it will be the most points Utah's up in a game this year. 2nd and goal. There's the throw to the end zone. Easy catch, touchdown, Austin.
Adjustment on the ball for the touchdown. She had the defensive back beat once again, but has to adjust to an underthrown ball purposely, but was able to get into the end zone for the long-awaited touchdown for this Austin Yellow Jacket football team.
That makes our score 35-8, and it is officially the most points Falcons have given up this year.
Do you go for 2?
Why not?
Exactly. You want to get double digits,
Dang.
and you want to continue to try to shrink this score. But, again, great job right there. Great play call, going up top to your number one playmaker at wide receiver and coming down with the touchdown that you were trying to get the entire game. I like this drive. I like what Utah has done all game, but I like to see Austin capitalize with a touchdown here.
It's been your advantage all night long, so take advantage of your advantage. This ball, with some trickeration, I lost it until it crossed the pile, and it's Fuller able to take it in for the 2-point conversion, and we're at 30-10.
Falcons 35.
Did you see that?
I didn't see it. I was waiting for you to give it a call, but I saw 3 people going one direction. I was like, somebody got the ball. But Fuller once again found her way into the zone, and I'm glad she was able to get at least some points because she's really worked hard on both ends of this team for Austin.
You know, I apologize letting you down. my eyes have been okay tonight, but that time it was great deception by Austin. I couldn't tell who had it, and somehow it's Fuller on the backside who ends up with it, and good for Austin.
But it's tough with the jerseys that match the field. You know, say this is a home field for Utah, but Austin is like it, you know, so.
That's a fantastic point. I got lost in the logo. I'll use that as my excuse. So 35 and 4:57 left here in the national championship. And hey, if you're Austin, why not do an onside, right?
Go for it all. You have nothing left to lose. They played a well of a game. They've been competitive. The score may not reflect that, but they have been playing competitive football. Still think you're in it? Go out and get it.
Utah, a lot of players up. Of course, this is how they normally space out for a kick return. But would not be surprised to see this one being that 10 to 12 yard range. Of course, Utah tried an onside back in that first half. Austin was very alert to it. And Austin's going to boot this ball back. Off the bounce, step, I think, by Jessie Beck. Beck left side, and she gets met. I think it was Stephanie Tracy who came up and made a pop on Beck.
It's a good form tackle right there. That's one thing that I've been impressed with by Austin is that whether it's on special teams or on the regular defense, they've done a good job making tackles in space. They don't miss a lot of tackles.
It's a good point. I mean, you know, we've talked about some of the miscues and some of the ways in which they've kind of taken themselves, shot themselves in the foot. Again, you've talked about the defense and how good it's been, and it has been good, solid tackling. I mean, you know, Keishia Cox, we expected her to have a big game here tonight, and they've done a really nice job against her. We really haven't called her that much.
They stepped up to the challenge. They forced her out of bounds a couple of times. They just hadn't made those plays on the back end. They gave up those 2 big passing plays, which ultimately were touchdowns. But overall, solid defensive effort.
Here is Cox. Yep. Tony Fuller.
She has put an impressive array of skills so far in this game, but defensively, as a defensive back, it's hard. You don't see cornerbacks at any level come up like that consistently and make plays like that in space. She has won every individual battle on the perimeter. She has been awesome in this game.
She has, and it's one of the things I was going to say, and you just alluded to it, is that, no matter what your level is, you can watch Fuller and learn a thing or two. Is right here, how about this moment? Louise Bean coming off the field for the last and final time to her home crowd.
And you saw they're announcing that she's retired to this game, and she's going out on top. 40 years old. Her sister retired last year. Her sister Nicole is 42, and so that's awesome. Family affair with the Utah Falcons.
And fantastic that she's able to do that in front of the home crowd and get a nice reception from them. As this is Cox again trying to catch it outside, she'll pick up a yard or two. But boy, what a great night for Louise Bean. And I mean, we highlighted Cox pregame, thought she was going to be the two, but really tonight has been Louise Bean's game, and her impact has been one of the big reasons why Utah is going to go and win the 2017 national championship.
One of the more underrated aspects of football is the amount of credit option quarterbacks don't get for their decision-making, their ability to control a game, and we've seen that from Keenan Reynolds at Navy. We remember a time, I don't know how you remember Bo Morgan at Air Force, running an option. You remember Louise Bean here tonight doing her thing. So you've seen great option quarterback. Justin Thomas at Georgia Tech. People just think that great decision makers are the pocket passers, but option football, you're dealing with it up close.
Yep.
You have to make snap decisions. You have to constantly be right every time. And she has done that. And when they've asked her to throw the football, she's been dead accurate.
And I think the thing, one of the things that really separates a good option from a great option quarterback is Utah here facing a 4th and 4. Their ability to throw the football, right? It's one thing when teams know you're going to run option every play because the quarterback can't locate a football down the field. And that's one of the things that I think has made Louise Bean so special for the Utah Falcons. And seeing it here tonight is her ability to locate a football down the field.
It's been awesome, man. Very impressed with her accuracy.
Boy, Ware thought about her lane, thought she had a lane. Instead, she'll pitch it back, and that ball getting pushed out of bounds was Iono, and she's going to be a yard short. And Utah here turn it over on downs.
Well, I think they're going to be in good hands next season with Elizabeth Lane at quarterback. I like how she runs the option.
Yeah.
She's more of a weaver as far as like getting in and out of traffic like a New York cab, so she's doing a great job weaving through defenders, and she's late with the decisions on the pitches, but it's working because it's forcing the defense to stay out of position, which is why she's able to gain a lot of positive yards.
Well, I think one of the things about her is her speed is a little quicker than Louise Bean's. And so I think, that's a different aspect to her game that maybe teams aren't used to. The interesting thing would be, and we haven't seen it tonight largely because they haven't called the plays when she's been on the field, what is her throwing ability? Does she have that same placement as Louise Bean? Is that an aspect that maybe she can work on developing if it's not quite there yet? That'll be a big question, I think, for Utah next year.
I agree, man. I agree wholeheartedly. That's going to be the biggest challenge. Will they be strictly running the football, or will they be able to open up their passing game like they are currently with Louise Bean?
On first down, Allen under center for Austin. She'll plow ahead on the keeper, picking up 4 yards on the play. 2.5 minutes left, 35-10. The Utah Falcons on pace to win the 2017 national championship. Look to defend and repeat. As the season will take a break, return next year, obviously. Dane Stewart here, joined by Football Game Plan's Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. 2nd down and 6. Back to the ground. It is Fuller trying that left side, able to squeeze through the hole there, up, and will pick up the first down.
Fuller's going to sleep good tonight on the flight back.
She is.
She's going to have a nice nap heading back to Austin, Texas.
Emery, I'm going to give you some time to think about this. I have to answer right now. We're going to ask you for a player of the game.
Oh.
So think out.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one. That's why I wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up. You've got 1:37 to think about it. No pressure.
So what's the parameters? Am I picking an offensive, defensive, Utah, Austin, or how it's supposed to go? I need rules.
This ball thrown down the field, and that ball overthrown. The target was open. It was a nice move past the line of scrimmage, past the defense, but the ball was off target. I'm going to let you define your own rules.
You gonna give me options?
I am.
I'm like a kid with options. You can't give me options. But I'll give you an offensive, defensive player of the game, or just a team player of the game. I just think that's a great. We've seen a lot of great football out here tonight, and some players that are worthy of that honor.
Down in 10 in an I formation. Turning back in, boy, she sees the hole. Again, that vision, so impressive. All the blocking's the outside, and somehow she sees that sliver of a lane, able to cut back and pick up 5.
I wish I had her vision, man, as a running back. I'm jealous up here watching her pick and slide her way through a defense. She has shown patience. She's shown vision, speed, acceleration. She has complete game, and defensively, my goodness, she's probably played the best cornerback I've seen in quite some time, regardless of division or level or gender. She's an amazing football player.
Less than a minute left. Allen again looking down the field, and that ball broken up. Boy, and a penalty flag going to come in here late. I thought it was a great play at Lexi Floor, but the official there, and this one's going to be penalized.
Probably one of the first penalties we've seen defensively on Utah, outside of the block in the back.
I thought that ball was played pretty well.
It was played well. It was. Now we may see 17 points here. You know, it could be
That
time to break up the Falcons defense. Like,
well, I was gonna say, that might be more noteworthy than Utah winning the national championship.
Exactly.
I'm joking. Right? I mean, no one take that too seriously, but the most they've given up was 7.
you're about to put defense coordinator of Utah on the hot seat.
And he was up for some big jobs too.
Exactly.
1st and 10 after the penalty, the toss back to Fuller. Fuller has the blocking.
Touchdown.
And Oni Fuller, you mentioned it. What a game for her tonight. She had the 2-point conversion, but good for her to get in the end zone and get 6. 35 seconds left. The Austin Yellow Jackets score the touchdown.
And now the score looks a little bit more respectable. And it, to me, this score represent what the game looked like. You know, even though obviously they got these points late, but this is what the score probably should have looked like all game long. You know, and Austin played a good game. Utah played a better game. Utah made minimal mistakes. They were a very disciplined team. I wouldn't expect less from a former Air Force guy and Rasmussen. You know, so I totally appreciate what he's done with his ball team.
And, you know, it's one of the things where it's – well, I forgot what I was going to say.
Hey, that
Don't
happens.
you hate it when that happens?
I wouldn't expect less from an Idaho Vandal. You know I had to get that in there. You know I had to get that in there.
Hey, you know, some people call it the Harvard of the Northwest.
Big Sky Country. You got to love the Vandals, man.
Well, for one more year, it's Sun Belt country. And watch out, folks.
Listen, if we're talking Sun Belt football, it starts and it ends with Louisiana Raging Cajuns. We're just going to put that out there. But since we're talking – but here's the funny part. Like, you guys have been Sun Belt twice, 2 separate times.
Yeah, and both times they couldn't handle us.
Exactly. You know, so I can't crack jokes on that.
Yeah.
But now you've been awesome, man. You've been an awesome partner to work with. This has been a great experience. Hopefully the fans felt the experience as we felt. This was a great game. Great working with you. Great working with us as well.
Well, I really appreciate it. It's one of the things this league still growing. And if you've got a team locally, go watch it. Go follow it. We've seen a great turnout tonight as this is Turner from under center trying for the 2-point conversion, and she'll get in. 35 seconds left. The 2-point conversion good, and it's 35-18. And Austin getting some points up here late, to your point, probably more representative of the game and of these two teams. But good to see them have some success here late.
Exactly. And, again, the crowd is still packed out here, man. They want to see their Utah Falcons hoist that trophy, but they're also giving credit to what Austin has put to the table. This has been a very competitive football game.
And we have a couple players who have ran to get a water jug. You know what that means. Oh, like I missed it. This coach has his shirt off right now.
Coach's been working out. You know, extra reps on the bench. Coach can still give you a couple of carries a game.
I'm disappointed. That's the best part of championships, and I missed it.
You missed it. They go over there,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get another coach, but they got to
Failing on the play.
exactly. That's the
apologize.
first misread right there by the Falcons' option attack.
Well, Emery, I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a privilege and a pleasure. Never worked with you before, but this has been fantastic. Really appreciate your insight tonight. It's been our pleasure to have you come aboard.
Well, hopefully this is not our last time working together. I enjoyed my time here with you and also here in Utah, man. And, you know, I'm going to enjoy it for one more day before I head back to New York City and start running the rat race once again.
You can catch Emery on all sorts of broadcasts out east. He was telling me about it, and he's going to be a busy, busy man here in the upcoming weeks. This kick over with Jesse Beck. Jesse looking for a bit of a return, able to evade one yellow jacket, not the second, as she'll be tackled at the 29.
And fans can follow me on Twitter at FBallGamePlan if they want to know that, to see where I'm going to be each and every week. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, we got going on, but I enjoy it because football is my love. Football is a passion for me, and it's a passion for these women out here putting effort that's worthy of being on television, which is why people are watching now on television. People are watching stream live across the country, and they're enjoying themselves. I'm watching my Twitter feed as we're doing the broadcast. People are commenting on how great this game has been played, and a lot of people this is their first introduction to women's soccer football.
Yeah.
And it's a great showcase.
And it's one of the things, I mean, you know, the work that these women put in, it makes them no different than, you know, men's football at any level. I mean, they're out here practicing, you know, you're hitting the sleds, it's full padded, it's helmets, and so it's great to be able to reward them for all their hard work that they've been. That's going to do it. The final knee as the clock will run out here. 35-18, the Utah Falcons, your 2017 IWL National Champs. And Emery Hunt, I gave you some warning. Your players of the game tonight are...
Players of the game for the Utah Falcons, I think you have to give it to none other than the retiring quarterback, Louise B. Played a masterful game. Really impressed with her quarterback play. She gets it for me from Utah. And for the Austin Yellow Jackets, none other than Tony Fuller, who did outstanding damage on both ends of the field, offensively and defensively. Those are the two players of the game.
I couldn't have picked him any better. I completely agree. Louise being fantastic tonight, as you mentioned, retiring her last contest as a Utah Falcon, and 3 touchdowns for her tonight. She was instrumental in the Utah Falcons defeating the Austin Yellow Jackets and winning the national championship 35-18. For Emery Hunt, Vince Francis, Bill Francis, our entire crew here, thank you for joining us on this edition of Rewind. Again, the Utah Falcons, your national champions, defeating Austin 35-18. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time. great combination of size and speed. It's the speed on display here. Jump ball.
Makes the grab. It's a touchdown. I cannot believe what I just saw.